continue to recap what happened in week 2 in college football, start looking forward to week 3. Got to talk a little bit about the NFL stuff going around. A lot of press conferences taking place today around the NFL, so a lot of things being said by players and coaches. A lot to get to there. We've got Major League Baseball. It's heating up as we're getting closer to postseason play, as a couple of afternoon games today taking place right now. So a lot to get into over these next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing great, and you set it up perfectly. Really, on Monday and Tuesday, we're kind of doing the thrill of victory or agony and defeat. Sometimes the post-mortem, sometimes never going to lose another game.
That's right.
On Wednesday, it starts making that slow turn to then the fast, the torrent downhill to the weekend, to the next round of games. So really, I kind of look at Monday and Tuesday as talking season.
Yeah, well, it kind of is. You know, it really is just kind of, hey, what all the overreactions and things from
winners
the weekend.
talk and defeated whine.
Of course, and then Wednesday it kind of is a mix, I feel like, of everything, and then Thursday it's kind of the downhill slide to the weekend and getting ready for the next opponent. So it really is kind of a week of a lot of different types of reactions.
Hump day can get a little different, can it?
It sure can. It absolutely can. But I know we've got plenty to talk about this afternoon.
We sure do. And games coming up this weekend, and everything that has occurred so far. And I just think Tennessee and Georgia, this is Tennessee's time.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get Coach Tommy West's thoughts about it. You know, he's evolved through and through. But he knows that game. Although when he played, I want to ask him this: when he played it, it was big, but I think being in the East made Tennessee, Georgia, not as big as Florida, but bigger than it kind of used to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that, and obviously, seeing each other so much will definitely will cause that, and so yeah, I mean that is the big game this weekend. There's a lot of big games this weekend, but it feels like that one is the one that everyone has circled. Game day is going to be there, and this line's been moving all over the place. It opened at Georgia 7.5 point favorite, and now has moved all the way down to Georgia only a 3.5 point favorite. So that line's been moving, and it feels like we could get a really, really fun game in Knoxville on Saturday.
Arkansas and Ole Miss line. Ole Miss Sunday came out 10.5 point favorite. It's way down now, 6.5 point favorite. And Brian, I think game day made the right call being there, not just because of their prominent SEC stake. I mean, they are. I mean, they're a business partner of the SEC.
Absolutely,
no doubt about that. But they should be there over Notre Dame, A&M, shouldn't they?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think, like I said, there's a lot of really, really good games this weekend. And obviously game day can't be at all of them. But I do think, I think Georgia and Tennessee is just as big of a game as Notre Dame and Texas A&M. And I think, it's back to the thing. If you're looking at two games and it comes down to, hey, which game is an ESPN game and which isn't, then you go with the ESPN game. But I don't think there was a wrong answer to where does game day go this weekend.
Yeah, I wonder where Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit will be this weekend. They will probably be. What is the SEC primetime game?
Florida
Saturday?
And LSU.
They will be. They'll start out in Kirk Herbstreit will start out in Knoxville, and then have plenty of time to get to Baton Rouge, and especially with the weather forecast, just no issues at all there. So that'd be easy on them. But Saturday's going to be a lot of fun. Every week we have a little more definition.
Yeah, no, I mean you're learning more about these teams and you're learning who the players are and who kind of the pretenders are already through 2 weeks. And so yeah, we're going to get more clarity on that. And we talk about it a lot. A lot of really good matchups and a lot of good, top 25 matchups or at least games involving top 25 teams. I mean, Clemson, after kind of struggling early against Troy and kind of the weirdness of that game, now got to go on the road against Georgia Tech. We've already talked about Georgia and Tennessee, a top 25 matchup. You've got USF and Miami. Can USF pull off the upset a third straight week? Arkansas, Ole Miss, like you mentioned, A&M, Notre Dame, Florida, LSU, even Vanderbilt and South Carolina, a game game that if you had said 3-4 years ago, oh man, this is going to be a game that on Wednesday of game week, you're going to be making sure that you're pointing out and saying this is going to be a big game. Even, you were talking about it yesterday on a Tuesday. I would not have believed you if you said 3 or 4 years ago, that's going to be a big game in the SEC, but it is, and a lot of really fun, really intriguing matchups this weekend.
And for USF, I'm pulling for them. And if they win, I think they should get their just rewards. I think they should vault to number one. I've talked about it yesterday. I believe that. Now, let's say they do. Mm-hmm. Let's say they win and they move to number one. Mm-hmm. Let's go all the way with that. Then next week, I think they'll beat South Carolina State, open date. Then I think they'll beat Charlotte. Pesky, pretty well coached, pretty good North Texas on the road. I think they win. Against FAU, I think they win. Mm-hmm. Play and lose in Memphis. What should be their punishment in the polls?
It'd probably be a decent drop off. I mean,
I don't think it should be.
I don't think it should be.
I'm
just
think
telling
if they
you what
play
I think it would be.
I got you. And that's what I asked you. Thank you.
Yeah,
you're right. And Brian, I even think if they play Miami, I don't know exactly the points, but we'll know if we see it, 7 to 10 points. I don't think they should have that meteoric drop.
No, definitely not. I mean, we talked about it yesterday of if they win this game, but even if they lose this game and, if it is kept somewhat close, I mean, again, you're throwing USF this massive line where they're a 17.5-point underdog. They were opened as an 18.5-point underdog. But, even if they lose this game, if they cover, if they keep it, not getting blown out by 30 points, they still have one of the best resumes in all of college football with 2 top 25 wins and then playing your third game against another top 25 team. No matter what happens on Saturday, USF still has one of the best resumes in college football.
I think I used meteoric wrong. Meteoric's only when you're rising, isn't it? Can you fall meteorically?
I think so. I don't
know.
Landon, can you give us a definition on meteoric? I don't know. I think you can.
I mean, like Brett was saying, it's a meteoric rise, so I don't know.
But can you take a meteoric fall? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. I might have been wrong there. Then another open date for them, and UTSA at home, at Navy, at UAB, home against Rice. Unless it's at home to UAB, I don't see a 20-slot drop.
Yeah, no,
But by that time, the AP won't matter,
right?
Because we'll be into CFP rankings.
That's right. We'll be watching the television every Tuesday night and figuring out what they have to say for the rankings. So.
Live at the ACC SEC Challenge or whatever it is.
I mean, just wherever they're at, meeting and convening. But no, I mean, look, I think if you're a Memphis fan, I think you should be cheering for South Florida in all these games because it's a great opportunity for Memphis. We talked about it after South Florida beat Boise and kind of what that opened up for Memphis and what that did for Memphis. And now you look at Memphis, we talked about it all offseason, getting these opponents that, are the better teams in the American, you get them all at home if you're the Tigers. And so, I think Tigers have a great opportunity there, and so I think you definitely want them to come in undefeated if possible and have a big-time opportunity at home to knock off that USF team.
Oh, yeah, undefeated against undefeated, and then Memphis wins, and then they get that attention.
Definitely.
That's a lot of ifs in there, I know.
Oh, yeah.
But we were talking about it becomes more defining. We know a lot more than we did August 10th.
we knew again, like how many people were talking about USF back in early August and saying, "Oh man,
liked them all summer beating Boise."
Sure, but did you have them beating Florida?
I did not.
And us talking about the upset against Miami.
Against Florida. That's right.
We all had the questions of Alex Golesh has all this excitement every offseason. It feels like when can he actually put it together? And this year he's so far putting it together and 2-0 and another big opportunity against Miami.
All summer, I loved Virginia Tech straight up over South Carolina. Missed. I did like USF, I did like Mississippi State against Arizona State.
And you like both those all the way back until the first time you looked at the schedule. I mean, there was never a time where you said either of those differently. I mean, you were on top of both of those all
missed
season long.
South Carolina horribly.
Sure. Well, I think
punt return and no quarterback play for Virginia Tech.
I was about to say, I don't think many people thought that Virginia Tech was gonna look like that against South Carolina, because that was a very ugly game.
And I liked Ohio State all summer.
Sure. Yeah. No, you absolutely did. And Ohio State playing really well right now. So and they get a.
But we're going to get to some regrets when we get to 4:30.
Oh man, are we? We are. We're going to get to regrets a lot this season, Brett. You know, I mean, the sports world is full of regrets.
Yes. Regrets, I have a bunch.
Oh, I've got a ton.
Too many to mention.
Not just a few. I've got too many. That's exactly right. But no, it's shaping up to be a really fun weekend in college football. And then you've got Memphis in a road matchup against Troy. We've talked about it all week long. We're going to continue to talk about it. Another road game, an early game, an 11 a.m. kick. We're going to talk to the voice of the Troy Trojans, Barry McKnight, later in the show at 5 o'clock. But they're coming off an interesting game against Clemson, and so what can the Tigers show? Because just like we were talking about USF, if you want that opportunity against USF, you got to take care of business, and it starts with another road game this Saturday against Troy, and it won't be as easy as these last two games have been for the Tigers.
Yeah, and you win that when you get one more road game behind you, and you can start marking off the times you got to pack up and get out on the road.
Yeah, that is exactly right. So it's going to be fun to watch all of these games over the weekend, and I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but I just want to put this out here because I was watching the game last night. Landon, is it time to worry about your Mets? I mean, it's
getting closer.
Wild card.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I mean, you got a 2-game lead right now. Still playing the Phillies? You haven't looked good.
We're the amazing Mets.
You're the Mets, that's for sure.
Well, you were the amazing Mets.
Yeah.
Some 56
I still
years
choose
ago.
to believe we are.
Okay.
Still claiming the amazing Mets, but
just call it Dallas Cowboys optimism.
That's where we're gonna go today.
That's how we got to start.
We're gonna do.
That's where we go.
Working out Jadeveon Clowney today. The Cowboys are. How about that? It got me excited.
That
Former
great
Titan.
news about 10 years ago.
I mean, hey, if you had told me that, 10 years ago, I would have been like, all right, let's do it. But no, I don't know about it anymore.
There's a joke somewhere in there. You once had Micah Parsons, and now you're working out Jadeveon Clowney.
Thank you, Brett. There's I don't know if it's just a joke. There's a lot of pain and misery in there, I think. But that's life as a Cowboys fan right now. But we will talk NFL later in the show, as well as we're just a day away from Thursday Night Football, and a really fun Thursday Night Football matchup this week. You've got the Commanders, who looked really, really good against the Giants, and then you've got the Packers, who I think a lot of people talking a little differently about the Packers after what they did in Week 1 against the Lions. I think a lot of people high on them, but I saw a little bit of people not super sold on them in the offseason, and now what they did to the Lions. Now, questions on the Lions side. They replaced both coordinators, offensive and defensive. But, man, the Packers looked good. Commanders looked good against a team that I don't think many people had great expectations for in the Giants. But it feels like tomorrow night will be a really fun game on Prime.
There's a lot of stories out there wondering if Dan Campbell was the rah-rah guy with great coordinators. And, he went out and said and did all the media and gave the pregame spiel, and now he's left to do some coaching.
Yeah.
One game.
Yeah. That's the thing. We talked about it yesterday with a lot with NFL and college, but certainly in the NFL after Week 1. I don't want to jump out to super, I don't want to go too hot on some of these overreactions. And it feels like a lot of people are with the Lions. But, hey, maybe there is something. You can't deny you lost both offensive and defense coordinators, and you didn't look very good at all in Week 1 when the last 2 years you've looked like world beaters out there.
And if Sean McVay had really believed in Jared Goff, he would have never traded him.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely.
And I go back to the NFC Championship game 2 years ago when I thought it was too loosey-goosey, some of the gambles and going for it. And I said then, how many times Detroit going to be 6 minutes from a Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's not very many. No, I don't think that opportunity doesn't come around every year for Denver. So.
Yeah, we're not talking Kansas City.
No, certainly not. Yeah, it's miles and miles different between Kansas City and Detroit. Well, we've got a very busy show today, so let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30. Coach Tommy West is going to join us. We'll talk some college football with him. We'll talk about what happened over the weekend in college football. We'll also preview some of these games. Definitely got to get his thoughts on Tennessee and Georgia. We'll get his thoughts on a couple other games as well. We'll do that in our next segment at 3:30. 3:45, we'll talk the NFL's, a couple storylines coming out, some quotes from coaches and players from last weekend and kind of what happened and previewing this week. And so a lot to get to with the NFL. 4 o'clock, David Cohn, the co-host of Crane and Company. He'll join us. We'll talk college football with him. A lot of the same, where we're going to be recapping everything that happened. Definitely want to get his thoughts on what he saw. We know he was watching that Michigan and Oklahoma game really closely. Get his thoughts on both sides, Oklahoma and Michigan, but a lot of other storylines out of college football. We'll cover them all with David Cohn. 4:30, a new segment for us, 4 Downs. We're going to go through. We'll do this every once in a while throughout the season.
The hard ones of football.
That's exactly right. Switch it up. 4 hard-hitting questions. Obviously, you understand where the name comes from with 4 Downs. But Brett's going to kick us off with 4 questions today. Throughout the year, we will come back to this segment, and it'll be a different questionnaire, if you will, a different person with the questions for the week. So really excited about that. We'll get to that at 4:30. 4:45, we get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Barry McKnight, the voice of the Troy Trojans. He'll join us. We'll talk about what happened last week against Clemson, but we'll also preview this weekend's game where the Tigers, they travel down there to take on Troy. We'll get the insight on this Troy team and get prepared for what this weekend will look like from the voice of the Troy Trojans, Barry McKnight. 5:30, we'll talk about what's trending. We'll probably talk a little baseball during what's trending, as some really fun series wrapping up today and tomorrow as we're getting closer and closer to figuring out what the wild cards will look like, what this postseason will look like as a whole. Then at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Moe's Crunch Time. Well, let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. It's now time for the world's biggest spa sale. Spas starting at $29.99. Spas and swim spas now up to 30% off, and the floor model specials, they're out there as well. Don't forget about the cold plunges. They're starting at $49.99. Also, you can still get that free umbrella with a purchase of select patio furniture sets and swimming pools. The clearance pricing through the end of October. Buy now and save with the price increase. Don't forget about the special financing. It's still available, but only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian. I'm Brett. Our producer is Landon Schmidt, and we're live and we're local and we're with you until 6 o'clock. And we invite you to text or call at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk number. One-stop shopping. All our guests will appear at the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Always from our Family Leisure Studios. In this hour, every day brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they want you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat under the wheel of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury, safe driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, Brett, my top story of the day, it is this weekend's slate in college football as we kind of start making that turn. We spent the first couple of days really focusing on everything that happened over the weekend. Yeah, now we're kind of turning into this weekend, and after going into last weekend, and can we all sit here and agree that last weekend was a phenomenal weekend of college football? I mean, it was a great slate, it was great matchups, and the games
maybe
were
was
phenomenal.
Better than week one.
It definitely could have been. I mean, it was a really, really fun weekend. But all the talk last week was, after such a great week one, it's going to be a dud of a weekend. It's boring. There's not really any good games. Nobody can say that about this weekend's slate. Nobody will get confused with that because you look at these matchups that we're getting. Clemson, who has kind of struggled through 2 games. They're on the road against an undefeated Georgia Tech team. What can Alabama do? We saw what they did last week against a Group of 5 opponent, now hosting hosting Wisconsin and a 20.5-point favorite. Can they cover that spread? Can they get another big win? Or will they struggle against another P4 opponent? You've got the big game between Georgia and Tennessee, a top 25 matchup. You've got South Florida now in the top 25 with another opportunity to knock off a ranked team as they're on the road against Miami. Arkansas on the road against Ole Miss. Florida and LSU. Texas A&M at Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, South Carolina. Those are just the big-time ranked matchups. You go outside of that, a lot of other really fun matchups around college football, including what will be, so far in the season, Memphis's toughest test on the road against Troy, an 11 a.m. kickoff. And we kind of talked about that. Maybe that will help them for the next week when they play Arkansas at home at 11 a.m. And something that I've noticed about pretty much all of these games, the lines are everywhere. We talked about a couple of those games with Georgia and Tennessee and how that line has moved, how Ole Miss and Arkansas, that line's really moved. Memphis and Troy has been moving all over the place as well. So it feels like these are going to be good games. Vegas, the bettors, nobody can figure these games out. So should be a really fun weekend and a lot of matchups where, Brett was just saying, we're starting to kind of figure these teams out. We'll really know a lot more about these teams after this weekend.
Very rare when Vegas is kind of in scramble mode.
Yeah, it really is. They don't like doing that too often.
Yeah, a nervous Vegas usually is a victorious
yes,
Vegas.
That's exactly right.
A calm Vegas is usually a victorious Vegas.
I think Vegas is always victorious. That's right.
My top story, next week should be a lot of fun, but before next week, we got to get through this week in a couple of different games and places and teams and fan bases. Memphis, just go down to Troy and take care of business. And next week should be really fun. If Arkansas wins at Oxford, then I think tickets will be close to impossible, whatever the capacity would be. If they lose, if Arkansas loses at Oxford, they still should be hard to get because locally, if the Tigers are undefeated, the Tiger fans should be responding to a 3-0 team that would be 24-5 in its last 29. And any SEC team, I think, would have a crowd for that. I've heard and I feel like the indifference about Tiger attendance has been because of the American Conference. Well, that will not be the case next week.
No, it absolutely will not be. So take care of business this weekend. It should be a really fun atmosphere next Saturday.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, we're going to talk some NFL later in this hour, but it really is talking day around the NFL. A lot of these coaches having their weekly press conferences, players talking as well. But one of the bigger stories of the day is we learned after Sunday and after the 49ers win over the Seahawks that they were pretty banged up coming out of that game, and that included quarterback Brock Purdy, who played through the game with a couple of injuries. And today, head coach Kyle Shanahan saying that Brock Purdy could miss multiple weeks. Now, the 49ers got a 17-13 road win against Seattle, and you look at the next couple of weeks, depending on how long he's going to be out, I think they can weather this storm. You've got at New Orleans this weekend, you've got Arizona the weekend after that, but then the schedule gets a little tough. You've got a Jacksonville team where we really never know kind of what they're going to look like, how good they'll play. Then you're on the road at Los Angeles, on the road against Tampa Bay, home against Atlanta, on the road against Houston. That's a tough stretch. Now, when he says a couple of weeks, now we're starting to get late October into early November, so I don't think it will be that long. But what will this 49ers team look like if they're missing Brock Purdy? We always talk about that system and how quarterback friendly it is and how it feels like you could plug and play pretty much any quarterback. But Brett, you know what this means with Brock Purdy missing time. Mac Jones back in the saddle as a starting quarterback in the NFL if Brock Purdy does miss time. But a lot of injury news out there in the NFL, but definitely some big news with the 49ers involving their starting quarterback.
Brian, that's not just Brock Purdy. That's Brock Star.
Brock Star, I like that. I like
My
that.
not top story. Next week before Penn State really they have to begin their season, they played nobody so far. 2 wins already over Nevada and FIU, and named the score for this week in their game in state against Villanova. Villanova's outside of Philadelphia.
That's right.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Or is it in Philadelphia?
It's in Philadelphia. Yeah, it's kind of on the outskirts.
But Villanova football, okay.
How about that?
Then next week at home against Oregon. Then let's hope they can survive that long road trip out to hapless UCLA. UCLA could go over this year. And then they're at home against Northwestern. The Big Ten for years have they've really pounded on the SEC over 8 or 9 conference games. But Penn State's going to be in the college football playoff Final Four, aren't they, with that cream puff schedule? Why wouldn't they make the Final Four?
They should. I never want to say anybody's got that ticket to the Final Four, but you look at that schedule.
But that schedule?
Yeah, it should be fairly simple.
James Franklin can't blow that.
No. And certainly James Franklin can't. That is a great point by you, because if James Franklin blows that, oh man, the headlines are going to be strong against him because of a lot of coaching blunders and not being able to win those big games. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. And when we return, we're going to talk some college football. Our head coach, Tommy West, he joins us next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Getting engaged is one of life's most spectacular occasions. And when you find your ring at Sissy's Log Cabin, the promise of a lifetime begins with our promise to always provide unmatched quality, superior service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Find your dream engagement ring, wedding bands, and more when you shop sissyslogcabin.com or stop by any of our 7 locations. Begin the rest of your lives brilliantly, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
NST's been taking down insurance giants for over 35 years. Big firm power with hometown heart? Yeah, they don't play. It's that combination that has helped them win billions for their clients. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue. We're cooking it up, down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good afternoon. Traffic volume increasing in a couple of spots already on 240 eastbound from Mill Branch all the way out to 385 as you get on to Bill Morris Parkway right now. That's moving. Midtown traffic got a little bit heavy a few minutes ago on I-40, especially over here up by Chelsea. Hey, finding cures, saving children. That's what St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital does. If you'd like to help them out, log on to stjude.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you, and we got to talk with our coach. Coach Tommy West joins us now to talk some college football. Coach, thanks so much for joining us again. A lot to get to. I want to get to some of the games from last week, but we got to start with this big one this weekend, Tennessee and Georgia in Knoxville. Both teams enter this game 2-0. What do you expect to see on Saturday?
I think it'll be a great game. I tell you, I like Tennessee in this game. I was trying to break it down this week, and again, I'm a Josh Heupel fan. I just think he does a tremendous job. One, managing a team, and two, I think he's one of the best offensive coordinators in the game. Tennessee's offense, I think, is better than Georgia's offense. Of course, they're second in the nation right now. I think Georgia's defense is probably a little bit ahead of Tennessee's defense from what I've seen, and then Georgia's kicker and punter are outstanding. But I think the difference is the game's in Knoxville. I expect that place to be crazy, and I think Tennessee can pull it off.
Coach Tommy West, I would not have expected anything other than for you to mention special teams. You always, you dote on that, and it can get you beat, and it can be the difference between squeezing into the playoffs or going to the Poulan Bowl.
That's exactly right. I mean, I always thought as a coach that, a lot of times it's hard to win both phases, offense and defense, really hard. But you can win one phase. And if you do, then you got the kicking game that can make the difference in the game by either setting up field position with kickoffs and kickoff return, punt returns, or creating field position for your defense with kickoff team and punt team. So those kicking games are so important for field position, which will determine this game.
I know as a head coach, of course, you had your hand in everything, but you really were prominent in special teams, weren't you?
Well, I took them over and coached them for 2 years just because we lost a game down at Southern Miss, who was the bell cow of our league, and we knew we had to get ahead of him. We ended up beating them, having a winning record against them in the 9 years there. But we lost a game down there because I had all the starters on special teams, and they just wore out. They were dead tired. It was one of them muggy Hattiesburg, Mississippi nights. And they ran a punt back on us in the fourth quarter and beat us. And it was nothing more than, we just had to start playing some backups and different people in them. And I always said, I took them over because I knew I wouldn't fire myself.
Right.
And I knew we probably wouldn't be as good, but I wasn't going to lose another game because I wore them out there.
Boy, you mentioned a game down at Southern. I promise you, leading up to the Mississippi State at Southern game, I mentioned it a couple of times. Bryant can attest, Coach, and you talk about even a night game. The air is extra heavy down in M.M. Roberts. My theory is because it's in the pine trees, down in the piney woods in Hattiesburg.
I'm going to tell you what, it gets so hot there. It's crazy. I don't know what it is, but just the mug just surrounds you. And it's hard to play there.
Yeah, and you drive through there either going to or coming back from Florida, and you got to get a high-pressure hose on your windshield to get it cleaned the next week.
Oh, man.
That's a good one.
Oh, man. We mentioned the Tennessee offense. Joey Aguilar, obviously the kind of late switch as he started at transferred to UCLA, spent the spring there, and then came to Tennessee. A lot of people kind of had questions of what it would look like, especially early in the season. So far, it's been really good, and I think a lot of people have liked what they've seen from Joey Aguilar. What have you thought about Tennessee's starting quarterback?
No question, but I expected that. Again, Heupel does an unbelievable job putting them in situations where they can be successful because he everybody thinks he's just razzle-dazzle. We've talked about this a lot on our show, but man, he's going to run the football and protect his quarterbacks. But you look at what he's done. I mean, he took Milton, who great arm, very average quarterback, made him a decent quarterback. Hooker, every quarterback he touches turns into good players. So, I just think he does a tremendous job. I think Aguilar has been very good. He protects the ball. He hits the passes that he puts on. And that's why they're number 2 in the country in total offense.
Coach West, I'm afraid we're going to be looking back in a few years even, and the best football anybody ever got out of Nico would have been Josh Heupel.
Well, I don't think there's any question. It's headed downhill now. He he's not very smart to leave Josh Heupel. I know these kids and their families start thinking it's all about them, but it's and this is where coaches should get credit by putting people in situations where they can be successful. All players are different. You got to find out what turns each key to make them successful. But Heupel puts them in places where they can be successful. We'll see in this game how Georgia's quarterback does. I've not been a fan of Georgia's quarterback. I said before the season here that I think he's going to have to throw the ball a lot better than he's thrown it for Georgia to be a top-tier, top-5 football team this year. So we'll see in this game, because Tennessee's good enough in the secondary. We'll see how he does.
Coach West, when you played at Tennessee, we know, and it still is, third Saturday was just so big against Alabama. Mm-hmm. But when the league went to divisions, it really kind of totally created the Florida rivalry as we know it. Did it do it to Georgia? Did your locker room look at Georgia as second biggest game, or what biggest game was Georgia when you were there?
No, and we played Georgia a couple times, and Georgia really never was what I would consider a rival game for us. Now, the difference when I played, we hated everybody. There wasn't, all the social media and guys right. talking online and all that. And I'll never forget, somebody asked me one time, which was my most unfavorite team that we played, and I said, well, Alabama, Auburn, LSU.
UCLA, Georgia Tech.
In our days, they almost had to make you go shake hands after the game. It was we didn't like anybody. There wasn't any standing around laughing and clowning after a game.
So post game, you weren't jersey swapping with anybody, huh?
There wasn't any. No, we were trying to tear them off during the game. But no, there wasn't any jersey swapping. No. Oh, but I got to bring up now. How about the Buffalo Bills? How about my guy Turner? Did I tell you stats that Turner's up there?
Yes, I did know that.
He's an assistant special teams coach at the Bills, so he had one of the biggest wins that this family's had in a long time.
Oh, that was a great win, and on Monday we talked about it. They're on a collision course for the AFC Championship game to decide who goes to Super Bowl 60. And when they meet again, Coach, it's going to be 80 degrees colder.
Oh, no question. No question. He loves it there. He loves it. The head guy, he says, great guy, really good, and he thinks they got a special team. Yeah. I said, well, I don't know about what kind of team you got, but you got a special quarterback, I can tell you.
Yeah, they do.
I on NFL picks, I picked Buffalo. There's no doubt I'm pulling even harder now.
I think all three of us on here picked Buffalo. So
I don't know if that's good or bad, Coach. Turner can be mad at us.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you take Buffalo at home, and then if you got to bet, you probably take Ravens on the road. Ravens when they're at home.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea.
And Coach West, at the golf tournament, our friend that used to work with us here now at the SEC Network in Charlotte, Philip Dean, that was so tight with Turner at Briarcrest, asked me, I know you do, and he told me to tell you hello, and I'm doing it now over there live so everybody can know it.
Oh, that's great.
That's awesome. I tell you, there's some games this week. I kind of went back and I thought, okay, what did week 2 tell us? And I thought that it told us that Florida had a bad loss. That kind of closed the door down there a little bit, I think. But Oklahoma, what a great win for the league after Texas had lost to Ohio State, and then Michigan. If Michigan beats Oklahoma, now they're kind of getting the top. I thought that was a great win for Oklahoma, and Oklahoma may be a better team than we all think they are.
Yeah.
Then Ole Miss, I don't know stats. The quarterback's got to get going. I thought they'd win that game by more than they did up there, although Kentucky's always a thorn for them.
Well, we all did, Coach, but you knew almost immediately, especially after that second pick, that it was going to be just get a win and get the heck on the bus. And
that's exactly right.
I swear, post game, Coach West, I said I don't ever want to come up here again. I've had enough of Kentucky the last 2 years.
Oh yeah, I've been up there a bunch. We played them every year at Tennessee, and that's not a fun place to go play. And then Mississippi State, take your head off. Great job by them. But the biggest one to me is Clemson. I thought coming in here, Clemson was going to be a really strong team. Quarterback coming back, and now they've kind of, I don't know, they got a chance this week to kind of prove to me, because I think Georgia Tech's pretty good. And Tech's offensive coordinator I work with, Buster Faulkner, and he's really good. You know, and Tech right now is number 7 in the country in total offense. So we'll see about Clemson this week, I think.
All right, Coach West, this is how popular you are and the friends you have in this area in this segment we have with you, and we love it. So your good friend that covers you forever from the Commercial Appeal, Phil Stukenborg, he just texted me. He just texted me, said, before you let Tommy go, ask him when is he going to appear on the Manning cast.
You know what? That's funny. I almost yesterday I had heard that Peyton. I know Eli, but I don't really know him. But I know Peyton good from the Tennessee stuff. But they were doing a commercial here in Murfreesboro down at one of the Sonics, and I thought, I'll just ride down there and say hello to him. But I thought, there'd be so many people, so I didn't go. But that would be something. Hey, I made it if I get there.
That's right. That's right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Coach, you mentioned the Ole Miss, and obviously a young quarterback had some turnover issues early in that game. They're back at home this week against Arkansas, and so far I know it's been against two lesser opponents, but so far Arkansas's offense has looked pretty good. Any worry for Ole Miss this week at home?
I don't think there's a worry, but the only thing that comes to my mind is again, there's another one, Arkansas. Through the years, those have always been close, hard fought, all the way back to 14 overtimes the one year, whatever it was.
At least that.
Yeah. So I don't think you can just chalk a win up there. I do think they'll win the game, but Arkansas's got their quarterback back, and he's a heck of an athlete. So, but I think Ole Miss is probably pretty good again on defense, not like last year, but I still think they're a good defensive team, and I think that guy does a good job on defense too.
P. Golding, he does.
Yeah, I think he does a good job. So, I think Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is one of the teams now that I always break the league down by my top tiers, and then my middle tiers, and then my bottom feeders.
You need to come back to a game at Ole Miss and you use your clout as the former wide receivers coach, or was it running backs?
Yes, running back.
Running backs coach for Steve
I'm
Sloan.
Tell you what's crazy. Of course, I had a good experience. Last time I was there, we won. We beat them. But what's crazy is when I was a GA, when I was down there, oh my gosh! I mean we never played at home. We played all our games in Jackson. Because the home stadium was so bad.
And no lights.
And grass, had a track, grass growing out of the track. It was horrible. And to see what it is now, man, you talking about some improvement now. Of course, that was back in the Stone Age when I was
there. Well, and Coach West, this year, because of scheduling confusion last year with Wake Forest, they backed out and on the fly had to reschedule another game. This year at home for Ole Miss is 8 home games. In Archie Manning's career, in his 3 years, no freshman eligibility, as you know, but in his 3 years, he played in 8 home games at Vaught-Hemingway. They're going to have 8 there this year.
Wow. Well, that's something there now. But, I see that because, like I said, when I was there, any game of any consequence was played in Jackson just because they'd get a lot more people there.
And sometimes Ole Miss would play a game as a home team in Memphis, and Coach Majors, when he got to Tennessee, the Tennessee game would be in Memphis when it was a Tennessee home game. And after getting beat in 1980, he said, let me get this straight. We play a home game on the other side of the state in a different time zone, closer to their campus that accommodates them more. This is nuts. That's over.
Well, that's funny you said. We played Ole Miss twice while I was in Knoxville, and both of them were in Memphis. So, they always want to play that one game. Everybody would always ask me, the other coaches would say, how do y'all get Tennessee on a home and home? I said, because they want to come to Memphis and have a presence there in Memphis. Now, the guy that hated that was Calipari. And he would always tell me, he says, "I'm not doing this anymore. You got to tell them you're not doing it." And I said, "Hey, John, I don't have a choice but to do it. Our stadium will be full." He goes, "Yeah, it'll be half orange." I said, "No, it'll probably be about 65% orange, but it doesn't matter. We fill the stadium up, so I got no choice. I got to do it."
So I know you had a good relationship with him. So it was more than just the ice machine and the hardwood floors. You had conversations with Cal about.
Exactly. Well, then he, because him and Pearl never were. I don't think the best of friends. And then they had the game, 1-2, which was unbelievable. The game where all the socialites showed up.
Oh yeah. Well, it's going to be a fun weekend this week in college football. Coach, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next Wednesday.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach West.
Coach Tommy West with us every single Wednesday,
right,
and always a lot of fun.
Best time of the week.
Oh, my gosh. It is by far the best 30 minutes we have at any point, any part of the year. I mean, it is unbelievable when he joins us. He is so good.
Coach Tommy West could walk into the middle of Tiananmen Square and be able to talk football with somebody.
Man, it's incredible. It is so much fun, and the way that he's able to mix in just, hey, here's some old stories about where I was at or what I was doing, but also here's what's going on right now in college football. I mean, it is awesome, and it's something I look forward to every week. It's a lot of fun. But I did want to clarify this. We were talking about it earlier. So we were talking about who was doing the games over the weekend. So Herb Street and Chris Fowler, they're actually doing Georgia-Tennessee. So they are on the afternoon game on ABC. They'll be at the game day game.
Yeah, jet fuel ain't free.
No. I mean, hey, why not? It's a big game. Keep them there. And then Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy, they're going to do the Florida-LSU game that night. So, hey, ESPN knows what they're doing.
and Sean McDonough's still on cloud nine, me telling him he made the crunch time.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, that's put that up there over any awards or anything that he has gotten in his career. That is.
I do think he's one of the great voices of American sports history.
I'm with you. He is unbelievable. He is so good. But yeah, so we got some good teams this weekend for some really, really good games. But we need to get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk a little NFL. A lot of headlines coming out today as coaches are speaking, players are speaking, and we're getting closer to more games this week, and it starts tomorrow night with Thursday Night Football. We're talking NFL next on Sports Time.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Don't miss the 53rd Annual Pink Palace Crafts Fair at Audubon Park, September 26th through the 28th. Bring the whole family and enjoy 3 days of food, live music, and of course, shopping for one-of-a-kind arts and crafts from across the Mid-South. It's a Memphis tradition you don't want to miss. The Pink Palace Crafts Fair, September 26th through the 28th at Audubon Park. Sponsored by First Horizon Foundation, Friends of the Pink Palace, and your friends at Sports 56.
I don't think I'm a bad golfer. I know I'm a bad golfer. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. And sometimes bad is not quite the right word. Awful, that's more like it. And when it comes to selling houses, that's a whole different story. Over the many years that I've been in the real estate business, I have refined and perfected my highly successful strategic marketing program. In golf, forget about my normal 5 strokes on the par 3. But remember the home I just closed in November with 2 offers at full list price. Okay, let's review. If you're thinking of selling, wouldn't you want an experienced player on your team to lead you to the closing table? Someone whose background is marketing and not merely putting a sign in the yard. Then remember what people often say, that when you want the job done, call who? Shell Dunn. You can reach me, Shell Dunn Rosengarten, at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. That's 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. And go Tigers.
Are you facing an unexpected financial emergency? You need WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com could help you get up to $5,000 fast. WeFixMoney.com is free to use, available 24/7, and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Go to the name you trust, WeFixMoney.com. If you need emergency cash up to $5,000 for bills or anything else, type WeFixMoney.com directly in your browser. That's WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you as we got a couple minutes left in this first hour, and we got to talk the NFL as a couple headlines coming out of the NFL. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I had it with my not top story of the day. Brock Purdy certainly is being called a long shot to play week 2. Now they're saying that it could be a couple of weeks that he is sidelined for the 49ers. I don't, what does that mean? Mac Jones gets to come in and take over as the starting quarterback. What will he look like in that 49ers system? Definitely something to watch there. And I think the other interesting story from today, from all the coaches speaking, is that it looks like Travis Hunter going to get more snaps on the defensive side of the ball. We talked about it going into last weekend, was listed as a starting receiver and a backup corner, and got snaps on both sides, but the Jaguars saying that he could see more playing time defensively in week 2 after they liked what they saw out of him in week 1 playing both sides.
I'll just remind people that Kyle Shanahan got to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I mean, it's you look at the last couple quarterbacks, including Brock Purdy. Even
Brock Starr.
I was about to say, last pick in the draft. I don't think anybody assumed that he would be able to do this, but
it ended poorly for Mac Jones in New England, and where was he last year? Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, that's right.
Yeah. With Kyle Shanahan, he'll make it work. If he keeps people healthy around him.
Yeah, and I mean, what's it going to look like? George Kittle placed on the IR yesterday, so I mean, you got to keep those weapons around him healthy. But yeah, I think if you've got a pretty healthy receiver room, running back room around you, yeah, I feel pretty confident Kyle Shanahan can work with just about anybody. If you've got a pulse and you can throw a football, he can make it work.
There are worse options than Mac Jones.
Oh, there's so many worse options than Mac Jones. I mean, you're talking about, Brett, talk about the backup quarterback in Dallas. You could go down the list of backup quarterbacks around the league that I think would be way worse options than Mac Jones. So, yeah, I mean, I think they'll be fine. And like I said,
are there worse starters than Mac Jones?
I don't know about that. Maybe like a young guy, like one of these rookies, maybe. You can make an argument about what's going on down in New Orleans.
Maybe.
I think if he was in that quarterback room, he might be the starter there.
Carolina?
Could make an argument about Carolina with Bryce Young. So, yeah, there's a couple where I think you can make an argument where he could be the starter there.
The Giants, we know who's going to be the starter or get a shot to be.
Sure, that's kind of a hodgepodge right there. Couple options back there for a quarterback, but we know what the future is with the Giants. So, yeah, I mean, there's way worse options than Mac Jones. It's just the fact that Mac Jones, Alabama quarterback,
62-year-old Joe Flacco.
I don't know. Joe Flacco's had some magic. He is he hadn't looked bad back there, but you're right. He is getting up there in age.
I didn't think he was horrible last week.
No, not at all. I mean, like we said, we talked about
it. Had 2 picks, though, didn't he?
Yeah, but he made some plays. He kept him in the game, and that was also credit to their defense.
And then went and cashed your Social Security check.
Hey,
pretty good day.
What a weekend! Hey, kept my team around, and then cashing in. So no, you can't be mad at that. But
it's an NFL retirement check, a Social Security check, and a game check.
Right. I mean, what a
good
life.
Day.
I'd like to live that life. Hey, just chilling on your couch, and they give you a call. Hey, we need you to come and give us a start. So what a wild existence. But That's Joe Flacco for you. But no, I think definitely worse options, and I'll be curious to see what Mac Jones looks like at quarterback, and definitely curious about with the Jaguars, what they do defensively, offensively with Travis Hunter, maybe get more defensive snaps. I think it looked fine in week 1. Weird game. They didn't want to throw him out there too much.
I want his hands on the ball, though.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you at that. I don't want to take, again,
smoke, tunnel, 9 routes.
I don't want to take too much away from anything in week 1. I certainly don't want to take anything away from that Jacksonville and Carolina game on either sides, because that game was weird. We had the long rain delay. It was just kind of a game that was off kilter from the start. Then you had the fact that it was such a big blowout that you were just kind of trying things towards the end of the game. So that will be, and we talked about it last week, that's a storyline to watch throughout the rest of the season, is how do the Jaguars use Travis Hunter and implement him on both sides of the ball, because he was very headstrong about that going into the draft, is I'm going to play both sides of the field. I'm not just going to pick one or the other. And the Jaguars have been out there saying, we're going to play him on both sides, and they did that on Sunday. It looks like they're going to do that more going forward.
Baltimore, 11.5-point home favorite over the Browns.
How about that? Yeah.
That's an NFL team on the other side.
It's crazy. It always blows my mind when I see those type of double-digit lines.
Week 2, we're not talking about playing out the string in week 17 and 18.
Yeah, no, this isn't a week 15 game where there's injuries and you already know one team's well into the playoff and the other is fighting for the number 1 pick. No, this is week 2, but you go back, Browns stayed in that game. It was an ugly game against the Bengals. On the other side, everybody about halftime of that game against the Bills were going, Ravens by far the best offense in the NFL. I mean, the way that they were clicking, the way they were moving the ball, throwing it, running it, just having so many options in that backfield and pass catchers, that Ravens team looked good. And so, it surprises me every time I see lines like this, but I also wouldn't be surprised at all if the Ravens go out there and win by a couple touchdowns. But tomorrow night will be fun with Thursday Night Football. We'll talk about that a lot more tomorrow, and then obviously on Friday we'll preview a lot of the weekend in the NFL. But right now we need to get to another break and wrap up this hour. When we return, we're talking more college football. David Cohn, the co-host of Crane and Company, he joins us next.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings & Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings & Grill is family-friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings & Grill.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad, or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. I'd sure love to see you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
Newsflash! Family Leisure needs your help. Family Leisure has a warehouse full of inventory, and they need it cleaned out. Do your part to make room for new items, and you get great deals on almost everything. Listen up. All in-stock patio furniture, it's up to 80% off. You can get a 4-piece deep seating set for under $1,000. Chaise lounges. You buy one and you're going to need another, and that other one will be one half off. All Pollywood furniture, it's now 20 to 30% off. You buy any dining table, you're going to get an umbrella absolutely free, and they're not cheap. Now, is financing available? You better believe it. Special financing is a go. To sum it all up, Family Leisure has got to clear out its warehouse inventory, which means you're going to rack up the savings. Help Family Leisure clear out the warehouse. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together to clean out the warehouse.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Traffic's on the increase right where you would expect through Midtown. This time of the afternoon on 240 South at South Parkway. It's building pretty good right now south of Memphis. A little bit of radar down through DeSoto County earlier on 55 going southbound. Just be careful out here. Lots of radar in some weird places. Finding cures, saving children. That's what St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital does. If you'd like to help them out, log on to stjude.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
That's the way it goes when you live a life like mine. A life like mine don't always shine. I've dropped my head in shame from time to time, but I know when it's done and they call my name, wouldn't trade a thing for a life like mine.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and you know at this time on Wednesday afternoons, David Cohn, the co-host of Crane and Company, joins us. But you just heard David Cohn in his song Life Like Mine. We love listening to his music. We love putting it out there. David, tell us a little bit, before we get into all the college football action, tell us a little bit about this song.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for having me on. That song very apropos right now, as I'm just finding out moments ago that Charlie Kirk has passed away from a gunshot wound in Utah. It's very difficult right now for me to think about anything other than his family, quite frankly. Two small children who don't have a father coming home to them. So I'm very emotional right now, but I think about the lyrics of that song, actually, A Life Like Mine. And, it doesn't always shine. It doesn't always shine, but if you orient yourself the right way, if you orient yourself towards God and towards good, you can live a good life. And I'm praying for his family right now and for this nation as a whole.
Well said, David. Just diabolical, the news of the day, but we do try to, we try to we try to talk a lot of sports in it because we have to have an escape, don't we, David?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And obviously, we host a sports show at the Daily Wire, and then we deal with this on a daily basis. It's a company that was the foundation is political in nature, but obviously sports is a backbone of this nation and of us as people. And so, yes, I appreciate you guys having me on and allowing us to have an outlet for this and for our kids to engage in athletic activities and to give us opportunities, to give them opportunities to look up to us. But, it's a very emotional day for sure. And all I have to say is hug your children tight tonight. Hug them tight and hug your loved ones tight. And God bless this nation.
For sure, David. We're honored to have you on. And the emotion that a lot of us are feeling today and at this moment, and then tomorrow, it will be some tears shed over these next few days.
Yeah, no doubt. I've already shed a few myself, and I'm going to take my own advice right here when I'm done with you guys, and I'm just going to go hug my kids as tight as I can. Wish Charlie Kirk were going to have that opportunity. But again, we will not let this defeat us. That is the goal from an action like this, to defeat us, to make us cowards, right, from the cowardice that has revealed itself today. But I, for one, will not let it get the best of me or my family. And so I hope your listeners are aligned with what I'm saying right now.
David, how much fun for you was last Friday night? What, you were at your high school reunion state championship team, is that right?
All right.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for bringing that up. 20 years ago, 2005, the Statesboro High School Blue Devils did win the state title, and it was made sweeter by losing 2 in a row. I lost my sophomore year to Marist, who had a quarterback by the name of Sean McVay coaching for the Los Angeles Rams, and we thought we'd win it as juniors. We came back the next year, went 14-1, and lost to Warner Robins in the state title, and just, we had a great group of guys who came back as seniors who said, we got to get us one. And so we went 15-0 my senior year. We beat Northside Warner Robins in the state title game in Paulson Stadium, where Georgia Southern plays, 17,000 people strong. One of the greatest football games that I've ever been involved with. And so a 20-year reunion. I really, guys, I can't believe it was 20 years ago, but I did get an opportunity to go back to Statesboro this past weekend with my family, take my son out on Womack Field to enjoy that celebration amongst brothers. And it was an awesome time for sure.
David, it looked great when I saw that over your feed. I know how much fun you were having, and having Big Guy with you. 15 games, that's a lot of football, and now we're doing that in college football. Are these guys made for that long a year?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, when you look at the NFL season, they're trying to add another game every year at this point. High school, like you said, I was fortunate to play 15 games all 3 years as a starter. That was our goal. If we only played 10, we knew we did something wrong. A large part of the answer to your question, I think, will depend on what sort of collective bargaining we end up getting with college athletes, and are they considered employees? And I know that's the answer that most of us least want to hear when we think about our beloved college football. But yeah, at some point when you just keep adding more games on the back end of a season and not eliminating regular season games, which no one wants to have that. And to be honest with you, the idea of eliminating conference championship games now that the playoff has expanded, I don't like that either. And they're talking about adding even more as potential play-in games during conference championship weekend. This is not basketball. This is not baseball. This is a physical, violent collision sport. You can only play so many games in a given year. But then again, look, the more football, the better for me. So we just need to be strategic about it. We need to be smart about it. And I think with the proper leadership, not that that's necessarily what we have right this second, but with the proper leadership, we can certainly find the perfect amount of football games on the collegiate level.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And one of those games we talked about last week, I know one you were watching closely, Oklahoma and Michigan Saturday night, a fun matchup. I'm curious your thoughts on both sides, but I want to start with Oklahoma. They got the win. John Mateer, the story of the game, and the what he was able to do with his arm and with his legs. What do you make of John Mateer and this Oklahoma team?
Well, a lot of that game played out like I thought that it would, because I've watched John Mateer's tape from Washington State multiple times this offseason. I think for some people out there who don't live, eat, and sleep college football the way I do 365 days a year, they really just thought Oklahoma's going to be a mediocre football program a year, and who knows who's playing quarterback for them, and it doesn't really matter. That's not the case. I've been trying to scream John Mateer's praises throughout this offseason. Now, can he do it over the course of an entire season, and especially in this SEC league? Look, everyone has those questions, but you saw his capability last Saturday night, especially when Michigan was actually able to get home. There was a couple corner cap blitzes where they got home. Yeah. He escaped and still made plays downfield. So he, to me, is the real deal. He wasn't perfect, though. He made some mistakes, and he's going to have to eliminate those mistakes if Oklahoma's going to move forward and win the league, or potentially make the college football playoff and win the national championship, which I know those fans still have those sorts of aspirations. But that offense is as good as it gets, man. John Mateer, the movement they got on the offensive line, On the defensive side of the football, I thought they were even more impressive. I thought they had an incredible game plan against Michigan, and it was the obvious game plan. Hey, let's stack the box. Let's dedicate resources to stop this vaunted Michigan run game that they've been known for these last couple of years since Michigan has been so dominant. And let's make the kid who just turned 18 years old, Bryce Underwood, let's just see if he's the one who can beat us on the road. And I know that there are so many Michigan fans who are upset by the play calling, and they didn't let Bryce Underwood throw enough, and they want him to be Patrick Mahomes right this second. He's not going to be Patrick Mahomes right now, okay? That's just not realistic, all right? He turned 18 a couple days ago. Does that mean I would have called exactly that same game plan? Of course not. There were some things that left me scratching my head. Actually, I live tweeted the whole game, so if you want my real-time thoughts, they're out there for the world. You can just go check them out. They're going to get Bryce Underwood more involved. The proposition I put forward preseason was a similar one to last year. Can Michigan get good enough quarterback play so that the roster around them can be good enough for Michigan to move forward and make the college football playoff and potentially win the Big Ten? I think now we've seen a large enough sample size to understand, the rest of the roster actually I don't think is good enough to do that. Bryce Underwood is going to have to be a difference maker. Is that a tall task to ask an 18-year-old true freshman? Yes, of course it is. But that's why you come to Michigan, and that's why you start as a true freshman, so you can stand up to tall tasks. And let's don't forget the schedule either, guys. Moving forward, Michigan's schedule is much more manageable. Oklahoma's schedule is still a gauntlet. What a win for them. So Michigan still can win a lot of football games. Obviously, they'll be without their head coach, Sharon Moore, these next two games. They have plenty of problems to fix, which I think they can fix many of them. But, yeah, Bryce Underwood is going to be just fine. You saw the talent level and the capability and the ceiling that he has on display a little bit against Oklahoma, even though it was a tough loss.
David, right now, today, would you rather be in the Oklahoma locker room or the Texas locker room?
That's a really great question. I would say I'd rather be in the Oklahoma locker room.
Me too.
For one, you are undefeated, so that goes a long way, even though, Texas's loss on the road by a touchdown against the now-ranked number one team. This is not 25 years ago where you pretty much have to go undefeated to have a chance to win the national championship. This isn't that. Texas, obviously, we saw the Buckeyes a year ago go 10-2, wouldn't have made a 14 playoff. They make a 12-team playoff. They win 4 straight. They're the defending national champs. Of course, Texas could still do that. But it's about everything. Oklahoma, you're undefeated. You put on a good showcase at home against Michigan. You, I think, have the really one of the premier quarterbacks in the country, and that defense is flying around on all sides of the ball. This is by no means me selling Texas down the river. But right now, you got to feel good if you're Oklahoma. And someone on our show yesterday on Craning Company, they wrote in and said I was absolutely absurd for even thinking that Oklahoma could win the SEC. I said something that's absolutely absurd would be like Stanford winning the SEC because they're not a good team and they're not even in the league. Right. That's absolutely absurd. Yeah. The team that has quite possibly the best quarterback in the country coming off an incredible win where their defense was flying around and were disciplined and stuck to the game plan, that doesn't really qualify to me as absolutely absurd.
No, and Chris Collinsworth picked him to win the Heisman Trophy. If you win the Heisman Trophy, you're in the mix in the college football playoff.
Yep, my two co-hosts, I believe, picked him to win the Heisman as well.
Whoa.
Wow.
I just said he was the best quarterback in the SEC, Brian.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember what I caught from everybody on the round table?
That's true. Yeah, it was a lot of people were surprised, Brett. But I don't think you saying best quarterback in the SEC. I don't think that's too far from saying Heisman Trophy winner. I think it's pretty close. But talking about Oklahoma, their former quarterback Jackson Arnold, he's had a good start at Auburn. They're now in the top 25. Now their competition gets tougher. Had a tough test against Baylor in week 1, who had a good win on the road at SMU over the weekend. What do you make of what Jackson Arnold has done in this Auburn team?
Look, man, I think they run the ball very effectively, and they still have, I think, one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country, and they haven't had to show that off just yet. But they're going to need to, especially when you talk about a really cool narrative with Jackson Arnold. How about getting to play against Oklahoma here? And I'm sure we'll get to that one next week in the preview. But, yeah, I can't wait for that football game. Hugh Freeze is doing a lot of things right. I saw the the pregame speech that he gave this last week. I got chills with him talking about that there are parents who drove their kids hours away just so they could come watch you, and they parked and they walked, and that's the kind of message that Hugh Freeze needs to be sending. And I like this version of this Auburn Tigers team. Of course, we still want to see Jackson Arnold deliver the football consistently through the air, and that wide receiver group that they have is going to help that. The Baylor win, to me, is going to look better and better. I picked Baylor to win the Big 12. I picked them to lose that football game to Auburn, which they did, and then I still picked them to win the Big 12. Granted, they were down to SMU by 2 touchdowns there in the fourth, but they stormed back and won in double overtime. That's going to be a great win because I think SMU is still a pretty good football team. So Auburn is in a great position, and like most of these teams, we're going to find out new data points very soon.
Yep. Absolutely. Mississippi State, they get the big home win over Arizona State, and definitely after that, a lot of excitement in Starkville after the last couple of years. They've really struggled, and obviously reasons behind that have been really hard to watch. But Mississippi State, they were fun on Saturday. The way they won that game, got up real big early, then Arizona State steals all the momentum. Looks like they're going to win late in the game. Mississippi State comes back. Blake Shapen, a 50-plus yard pass, touchdown pass to win the game. Really impressive from Mississippi State. What did you see from the Bulldogs?
Man, what a victory. And I have to give my co-host Jake Crane credit on that one because he called that win. And, that's an example of what a program can accomplish when you stay focused and you don't quit. Or were they down 3 there with 41 seconds left? They run this, trips right, Y-in, Linda mesh concept with the post hook. And if you go back and watch that, I did a breakdown of that play. I think it was the 56-yard touchdown there. Yeah. The switch release off the line of scrimmage just confused Arizona State's corner just enough to allow Brennan Thompson to get behind him, and that's all he needed. Just poor defense there by Arizona State, but what a win for Mississippi State. And you need those sorts of victories as you're trying to build up a culture and build up a football team with a young head coach. So I hope the Mississippi State fans can still ring those bells loud all week, and they get a couple more like that this year.
David, for years I've said the biggest, fairest criticism of the SEC is it's not perfect. It doesn't bat 1,000. So far this year in games against Power 4, I know the South Florida win over Florida, but in games against the Power 4, the SEC's got the best record of any of the other power conferences. They're 8-2. I know Bama lost at FSU. I know Texas lost at Ohio State, and last week with what happened for the Gators. But so far, this league has done pretty well. Now, A&M over Notre Dame will be big, and then when Arkansas plays Notre Dame, and you don't need any out of conference stumbles. You don't need Auburn losing to South Alabama. But I think so far, kind of pretty good for the SEC. Mm-hmm. Should the SEC really be able to spike the ball at everybody's pick to win the Big 12, a team that went over last year in the SEC beat them?
I'm sorry. So what's your question here again?
Can the SEC spike the ball about beating Arizona State, the team everybody had them winning the Big 12 with Dillingham and Leavitt? Because we know what the reverse will be if South Alabama beats Auburn.
Yeah, look, personally, I wouldn't be running around spiking the ball when Mississippi State beats Arizona State. Kenny Dillingham has done an incredible job, and I still think Sam Leavitt is an incredible quarterback. But to me, running around and spiking the football after a win like that would just give even more credence to the other leagues. Like, to me, if you're Mississippi State, a school I almost played for out of high school, I would just like for you to have the attitude that, yeah, we're supposed to beat them. Like Mississippi State fans themselves, because the program has sort of been down after rest in peace Mike Leach's passing. Mississippi State fans can certainly celebrate, but if you're a Kentucky fan, and this is what I say about conference affiliation and allegiance writ large, if you're a Kentucky football fan, or if you're a Florida fan after losing to South Florida, you can't draw any solace from Mississippi State beating Arizona State. So a lot of the stats you're talking about out of conference there are a bit of a vanity metric, even though, again, individually, all those games do provide some valuable data points for us and for the College Football Playoff Committee. We can't forget that the selection process for the playoff is still a subjective committee, not objective metrics like the NFL when you win your division or get a wild card spot. So, yeah, all of that stuff definitely matters. But if I'm the SEC, don't worry about spiking any footballs. Just keep winning games and try and get back into the national championship, a place they haven't been for the last 2 years.
So well said, David. I love unvarnished. I love that. You're right. Just go play ball.
Yeah, 100%, and I think that's what they're going to do. You saw Alabama do it after that loss to Florida State. Again, there was no amount of points that you could beat UL Monroe by that was going to all of a sudden get you back in the good graces of Alabama fans or people across the country. The points didn't matter. You could have beat them 100-0, and they almost did. The attitude on the sideline, though, we saw that with Kalen DeBoer and some of the players, and your quarterback Ty Simpson going 17 of 17. That's hard enough to do even when you're playing against air. That's the kind of attitude that I'm talking about. Get back to work. Treat this on a day-by-day, week-by-week, opponent-by-opponent basis, and let the chips fall where they may. Over the course of a season, you can sort of get back into the good graces of your fan base and your conference fan base.
Yeah. David, some really good matchups this weekend in college football. And the big one, Georgia and Tennessee in Knoxville. Both these teams 2-0, but this will certainly be the toughest game for both of these teams so far on their schedule. What do you expect to see Saturday, middle of the day, between these two teams?
We had a fantastic conversation today with former Georgia legend David Pollock. That's over on our YouTube channel at Crane & Company. And, one of the things that David and I both agreed on was Kirby Smart has built up such a trust factor with me against most opponents in the country, but particularly against Tennessee, that I'm going to take Georgia in the football game. But I have to say, just like Clemson and LSU in that first week, man, something's just starting to smell funny because, one, Tennessee's going to be at home. Neyland Stadium is not the place that you can just go walk into and think you're automatically going to get a win, right? So Gunnar Stockton, on the other end, a young quarterback for Georgia, is going to be walking into one of the most electrifying environments in college football. And then on Tennessee's side, Joey Aguilar seems like he's fit right in. Now, can he be accurate enough with the football, okay, against a defensive caller like Kirby Smart? I mean, someone who's just made his chops here over the last 2 decades coaching football, that he's one of the most feared defensive play callers in the game. That's a question that I have. And then can Tennessee's run game help him enough? That was something that with Dylan Sampson a year ago, they were able to do that. And even when Nico struggled, they were able to still move forward and win games to make the college football playoff. But I'll tell you what, this environment in Neyland is going to be so much fun. And if Tennessee can get this one, which I don't think they've beaten Georgia since, what was it, the Dobbs Hail Mary maybe? I mean, if they can beat Georgia at home, there's going to be plenty of other opponents on the road that are going to be very gettable for Tennessee.
Yeah. A&M goes to South Bend. We know what happened on opening night last year in College Station in Mike Elko's first game. Can A&M get the win and move Notre Dame to 0-2 for 2025?
Yeah, well, Notre Dame had the best opening 2 games of the season, opening with Miami and then Texas A&M in week 3. One thing to remember, Notre Dame did get that bye week in between. So they've been prepping for Notre Dame for over a week now, or they've been prepping for Texas A&M for over a week now. My synopsis is I think Miami's a really good football team. After watching the game that played out, I think that many of the problems that Notre Dame had was because Miami made those problems. Miami made it difficult for them on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side of the ball, particularly on third down and particularly in man coverage, which Notre Dame likes to play. Can Texas A&M do the same thing? We're going to find out. C.J. Carr, the young quarterback, didn't go on the road and lose that game for Miami. It was a poor game plan, I think. You got one of the best running backs in the country, and we weren't even handing him the ball, and one of the best wide receiver corps. Faison, Greathouse, the kid who transferred in from Virginia, all those guys need to get looks and help out a young quarterback. I'm going to take Notre Dame in this one against Texas A&M until I see that Notre Dame can go on the road and really bully a team like Notre Dame. But if they can, then I do think with 2 losses, even if Notre Dame were to run the table, I think they're out of the college football playoff picture because I don't think the rest of their schedule is quite strong enough. And quite honestly, if they struggle with Texas A&M in the same way that they struggled with Miami, I think that's just going to tell us this is who this team is. So they need to pivot in some very serious ways on both sides of the football, and I think they can, and we'll find out more. The only thing I don't know is the over and under, man. This could be a 17-14 game. This could be a very defensive battle like we saw last year in College Station, or this could be 40-37. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. It's going to be a really fun weekend with all of these games over the weekend. David, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next Wednesday.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much. David Cohn with us talking college football. He is co-host at Crane & Company. This hour brought to you every day by Landers Ford in Collierville. And right now you can trade up and drive like a pro at Landers Ford in Collierville. The last remaining courtesy vehicles used by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. They're demo priced at X-Plan pricing. Don't miss out. During their Strength in Numbers event, you'll see what's made them the number 1 Ford dealer in the Mid-South. The price you see is the price you get. No hidden fine print, nothing misleading at all. What you see is what you get. Transparency. It's one of the many hallmarks at Landers Ford. See it all at LandersFordMemphis.com. The last remaining Explorers and Expeditions used by the pros. They're all demo price. A portion of all proceeds will be donated directly to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Trade up and drive like a pro and support the best cause. Now's the time to buy. The price you see is the price you pay. Find the numbers that work in your favor at LandersFord.com. And remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you pay too much.
Well, we need to get to another break. When we return, we're going to debut a new segment, 4 Downs. We'll get it started. That comes your way next on Sports Time.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Everything today is technologically based. Well, except maybe you. If you're struggling with tech, no matter what kind, call Tech For You. Tech For You for TVs, home theaters, cameras, smart locks, digital storage, and more. Tech For You makes it simple and affordable. Call 697-9695. Make your home safe, comfortable, and up to date with Tech For You. Stop struggling with tech. Call 697-9695. Veteran-owned and operated Tech For You. Technology simplified.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
If you're lucky, the next time you visit Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown neighborhood bar, Harold will be behind the bar. You've probably been served by Harold at one time or another. He's a Memphis legend. Harold is the kind of bartender every bartender wants to be. He's been everywhere, seen everything, and done just about anything you can think of, and he has a story about everyone. Now, he's not going to force you to sit through stories if you want to just chat with your friends or be quiet by yourself. But if you engage with Harold at Bell Tavern, you won't regret it. If you want a cocktail and a tall tale, go to Bell Tavern.
Sports 56 traffic.
Starting to build with more volume right on schedule. Coming out of Midtown, 240 South at South Parkway. Just busy out here right now on 240 East from Mill Branch. All the way out to 385 as you get on to Billmore Parkway going outbound. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Stop by and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers, Ford, and Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
When you hear the sound coming, hear the drums drumming, I want you
Welcome
to
back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you on this Wednesday afternoon. We got to try something new today, starting a new segment. We call it 4 Downs, 4 questions revolving around college football. We'll do it every once in a while throughout the season. Brett will ask the questions today. The next time it might be me, it might be Landon, it might be Brett again. Who knows? But we'll do it every once in a while throughout the season. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get to 4 Downs.
Let's go.
All right, Brett.
I can't stand all the passing on first down. I know it's the easiest down to pass on because you're almost guaranteed man-to-man coverage on first down. But then when you don't make it, you're looking at 2nd and 10.
It's true.
So I'm not really passing on first down.
Okay.
I'm kind of running a toss sweep.
Okay.
Nope. First down, here it is.
Yeah.
What's the biggest preseason prediction for both of y'all that you already regret?
Oh, jeez.
Team, thought.
Oh, jeez. Landon, why don't you
Impression of a coach.
Speaking on passing, you're passing this one over to me.
I'm passing it to you.
So
That's
I
right.
did pass on first down, huh?
You did pass on first down, or at least I'm passing on first down.
I'll get started and
okay,
give y'all
please.
a second because I knew the question because I was asking it. So I'll give you a little time to think about it. Here's mine. I came to the fork in the road, and I went the Bama privilege again.
Yeah.
The Bama privilege is over.
Yeah.
Now, the institution, has done plenty to deserve it. But he, the head coach, Kalen DeBoer, has done nothing. When you hear the word entitlement, it's so often used, well, they're entitled. Well, Bama's entitled because they got a lot of titles.
That's true. Yeah. they earned it.
But this team and this coach hadn't, and I stereotype preseason of same Obama, and it's not. So that's my biggest regret.
Yeah, man, I think that's a good one because I think a lot of people were like that of, hey, they're going to be right back in college football playoff. They're going to be right there. It was 1 year off, and this year is going to be much, much, much different. And it certainly has not been the case. I think mine and y'all have let me hear it. Not believing in USF against Boise State. I mean, that was one
we
where
have let you hear it.
y'all have let me hear it. Hey, good for y'all. Y'all picked
had it all
y'all
summer,
run,
Bryant.
You had it all summer.
We had American pride. That's
you were
all it
telling
was.
me all summer long
We
that
did.
USF
That's it,
was going to win
Landon.
that game, and I said no.
No
they're
pride
not.
like American pride.
No
Boise
pride
State-
like American pride.
But honestly, and still very early in the season, but after what Ashton Jeanty did last year and taking that type of player off of a team, I think I fell into
That's why I
that.
voted for him for the Heisman.
No, I mean it was incredible. I mean I think
What
your
a
vote
show
was,
he put on
it
with
was-
every game plan geared to crush him.
Every opponent knew what they're going to do. Every single time they have the ball is they're going to hand it off to that guy. All you got to do is stop the run, and you can stop Boise State. And so everybody, and I fell into it too, of saying, oh, well, Boise State's going to be right back in there in the mix for the group of 5 spot in the college football playoffs. Well, we all should have known that they don't have that guy in the backfield again in Ashton Jeanty. It was going to be an uphill battle to get right back to that. Still a lot of season left, but already with a group of 5 loss, it would be really tough for Boise State to get back in that conversation.
What did Ashton Jeanty do in the regular season game against the Tigers 2 years ago?
That's a great question. I don't really
That
remember.
was a Boise State team with Taylon Green.
And Taylor Green got benched in that game.
He did. That's a pretty good Ryan Silverfield win, isn't it?
No, it was really good, and it was
For all the he's 1-0 crowd.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But no, he was. I don't remember. Let's see, 20. That would have been 2023. Against Memphis, 82 yards on 23 carries, and
pretty good.
Pretty good. He did have 2 touchdowns. But yeah, I mean, kept him under 100 yards. He was only kept under 100 yards 4 or 5 times that season. So, and you were one of them.
I hear so many. Where's the Ryan Silverfield signature win?
That was a good one.
How about that one?
That was a really fun game. That was the game where my friends made me leave the game early.
Those people. That's right. I do remember it now. Landon, your regret.
Yeah, I guess right now, seeing how we are still early in the season, but how things are kind of shaping out, and what I've seen about people on their on the Florida team for seeing how big I was about them this year with a lot of returners, a good-looking offense, them falling to USF. I mean,
was that Gator privilege?
It probably was.
Was that helmet and brand that David Cobb wrote so well about today?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think for me personally too, growing up a Tim Tebow fan and being a Gator fan as a kid, I kind of had that lingering childhood favoritism to say, hey, I think the Gators are back. I think
that was a good one to like.
Yeah, I think the Gators are back. They're going to make a run this year, but after seeing the performance against USF, I mean, in the weeks to come, we're going to see, is USF really that good of a team? And did Florida just lose to that good of a team? But I think for how things are looking right now for the Gators and going forward, and how people have kind of lost all momentum and hope for them in this season, I would probably say that that's probably my biggest regret so far.
Yeah.
Second down, I want both of y'all to be Dr. Why is the AD at Memphis escaping me?
Oh, Ed Scott.
Dr. Ed Scott, I'm sorry.
I wouldn't say Pepper when you kept saying doctor.
No. I want you both to be Dr. Ed Scott right now, and it's totally your call to schedule an SEC opponent, but it's a 3-1. You will have to go there 3 straight years before you finally get one back, but you're going to schedule them to infinity. You're going to have to go there 3 straight times, and then you get one here. Who is it from the SEC you'd schedule if you're Ed Scott?
Tennessee, easy. Get him on the schedule.
That was so easy.
I was about to say that was my exact same one.
That was second and a half inch, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hey, just push through, get the first down.
If I had to pick a third, I want to keep it in the state. I would say Vandy.
I like that. I don't mind that.
That'd be maybe more fun, a little bit.
But I don't know if I want to give them
competitive.
3 games at Vandy before they come here. I don't know. I think you can work out a better deal.
Anything in state though, I would be all for.
And I don't know that I want to do it while they have the coach now.
Yeah, I don't know if I
Why
want to.
can't I think of anybody's name
Clark
today?
Lee. Yeah, I don't know.
What the heck's going on?
Well, hey, it's a Wednesday, Brett.
Maybe Diego Pavia could make another appeal and be there next year,
right,
too.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, pretty easy third down, I think. Who's the best team right now in college football? 2 weeks? 3 for some.
I mean, I think you get different. You say it's easy. I think you get different answers on that. But I'm going to go with Ohio State. I mean, what they've shown has been.
I can remember their name.
Has been really really good. Obviously their schedule gets a lot tougher, and we'll learn a lot more about them. But right now they've passed every test.
Clemson's performance against Troy didn't dull, but it took a little of the shine off the LSU game, and LSU's performance against Lou Tech.
Sure.
A smidge, enough to give it to the champ, Landon.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just go ahead and give a different answer based on where we
It's
are.
allowed.
Yeah, but based on where we are right now and given the resume that they have, give me USF.
why not?
I think with USF's resume to this point,
Can't argue that.
two top-ranked teams going from unranked to number 18 in the nation, and now they've gone from an improbability to upset watch for Miami this week.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and give me USF.
Kind of coming out of the weekend, they will be America's darling, won't they?
Oh, they sure
Oh, I
will.
think so.
They absolutely will.
And that's good for Memphis and good for the Tigers, good for the American. Fourth down. Overrated or underrated through 2 weeks? The SEC. One or the other, over or under. No properly, over or under.
Jeez. That's a tough one, Brett. Because I think the answer is properly rated, but I don't have that option, so it's I don't get the cop out of properly rated.
This is 4th and 1 with the NFL new measuring.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Well, that makes it quick, Brett. This feels like the old kind of we gotta bring the chains out. We gotta make sure the chains are all lined up, and then really measure it out.
Always on the other side.
Oh man, and they're tangled or something. You gotta figure them out. They're not at the right spot.
Ole Miss, we led the league in tangled up chains a few years ago.
Hey, it's a work in progress, Brett. You got to figure it out. It takes time.
Lane was beautiful back then.
Well, I can believe that he did not love us seeing so many tangled chains.
Well, as fast as he likes to play,
Of course.
It slowed. And both times had the ball.
Yeah, that will definitely make you upset. Landon, you look like you're ready.
I guess if you're going to pass this one off to me too.
You look like you're ready to go. I don't know.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I given the two options, I'm going to go with underrated. I still feel like a majority of the conversation is still centered around Big Ten being the big conversation, and SEC kind of getting pushed to the side with Arch Manning not looking very good in his debut and Florida falling to USF. So
such a great answer.
I mean,
such a great answer.
I think all of those are aligning to the fact that all the attention's still on all these other conferences stepping up. So kind of SEC getting pushed to the side a little bit. So I'm going to go with underrated.
It's under, in my opinion, because of the two biggest names in the history of the SEC. They didn't perform week one. Alabama and Manning.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good reason.
And those names have kind of carried this league.
No, they absolutely. I mean, the offseason was carried by those two. I mean, all from the time the last game happened last year, all we've talked about is how great Arch Manning is going to be and how Alabama's going to bounce back and be a juggernaut again.
I may save all four of these for the last time I do it at the end of the year.
You could reuse these. You could recycle
This
and reuse.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we would all have complete different answers for every single one of these answers.
Now for this, it's not massively under. I mean, they hadn't been dissed. I mean, there's no need for any. And like David Cole said, if you're in the SEC, unless you're a state fan, the rest of the league shouldn't derive too much pleasure out of state beating Arizona State.
No, definitely not. So I'll agree with y'all on underrated, but I'm with you. I think, and I said it, I think you could have gone properly rated, and I think you could make an argument for overrated, and I would listen to you, and I think I could probably agree with you if you make that argument for overrated, but I do think they haven't had all of those tests I think we're going to see later in the season, and I think the kind of already of Alabama's terrible, Arch Manning is terrible. Some of these teams, have not looked good, and it's still very early in the season. So I think still underrated, which is kind of hard to say.
If you had to make the over, here would be my first shot at overrated. Boy, the SEC sure proud of wins over Toledo and Southern Miss, aren't they?
And that's exactly where I was going if I had gone overrated. I mean, there are some good wins in there. I mean, let's not forget about, LSU beating Clemson and some of those early season wins that they have. Mississippi State beating Arizona State. There's some good wins on there.
Tennessee over Syracuse.
Exactly.
Yay.
I mean, look at, Georgia beating Austin P. I mean, it's, very early in the season, you haven't really played
Arkansas beating Arkansas State.
Sure, and I mean, before that, putting up a bunch of points on against an FCS school. So, I mean, it's been a lot of FCS. It's been lower group of five. And, Alabama waving the flag after putting 73 points on the board last week.
We could argue
really
the other side of it.
Oh, absolutely. And so that's why I think you took away the correct answer of properly rated to make this a little more difficult.
I just wanted to hear the music.
That's okay. This is great music. This is
here for you, Brett. I'll turn it up a little bit.
That's right. We can just
for your listening pleasure.
That's right. We can just play this for the.
This is the music segment.
We're done for the day. We'll play this for until 6 o'clock. Just this on loop. No,
be safe, everyone.
Yeah,
no. Stay with us. No, we're not going
anywhere.
We still got a while to go. Kill the music.
We've got a lot go. But I think this is going to be fun. 4 downs. We will have this sporadically throughout the season. And Brad, I think you did a great job starting us off.
Yeah, great questions.
4, I thought, really tough questions.
Brian, you're captain. You spring it on us.
All right.
Whenever.
All right.
I guess he signed you up for saying you're next.
Yeah,
for
I'm
questions.
next. I'm next. I can't pass this one off like I tried to pass.
I will pull a Calvin Ridley and drop it.
That's too bad. That is.
How did his hands get so bad from Bama to the NFL?
I don't know. But hey, be happy I didn't say CD.
Thank you.
Even though I technically
you
just
did say CD. So yeah, there were a lot of drops over the weekend.
There were.
In week 1 in college, there were a lot of drops.
There was a lot of great catches, though.
And didn't we all expect more of an NFL career from Amari Cooper from Bama?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, we were talking about that the day he retired last week.
Yeah, very true.
It's kind of a weird career for him because, I mean, when he was good, he was so good. I mean, one of the better receivers in the league. But then there were so many years in there where it was just like, oh, yeah, Amari Cooper, he's over there with whatever team he's with now. I mean, it was
Y'all help me. Other than Julio, what Bama receiver has crushed it in the NFL? And in poor sad case of Henry Ruggs. But
Yeah.
As Waddle?
No, I mean he had a stretch there, but it hadn't been as consistent, I would say, to kind of be considered dominant.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I can't really think of one that is.
And that was all can't miss people.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it just shows how hard it is.
Julio
Well,
Jones.
he said
Yeah,
outside
I
of
said
Julio.
outside of Julio.
Yeah, Julio strolls into
I
camp.
mean, that's
I
easy.
guess right now I would say Devonta Smith.
Yeah, but is he really?
Doesn't he look smaller every time out?
I think he does. Yeah, I think he's losing weight with each passing game, but at least he's got a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was small at Bama and
he's
won
a
the
really
Heisman.
good receiver.
But
yeah, I don't know.
But
he stands side by side A.J. Brown. Oh, my.
No.
Yeah, that's a crazy difference.
Speaking of side by side, have you seen those pictures of Victor Wembanyama with Akeem Olajuwon?
No, I've not.
It's unbelievable. Akeem Olajuwon was every bit of 6'11", 7-foot player, great player. And those pictures of Wembanyama towering over him. I think he's 7'5" or 6 now.
I believe it. That would not surprise me. I thought you were going to ask if I saw Ian Eagle and J.J. Watt over the weekend. Did you see those two standing next to each other? Holy cow.
Well, yeah, I kind of.
I mean.
Look, I know what those pictures look like, Brian.
I mean, holy
I'm used
cow.
to that.
Well, I guess that's true, but I laughed out loud when they had the little booth shot of those two, and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks cartoonish.
It's like the Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram photo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it is crazy, but they were good in week 1, I thought, and I think J.J. Watt's going to be good in the booth. But we need to get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Don't miss the 53rd annual Pink Palace Crafts Fair at Audubon Park, September 26th through the 28th. Bring the whole family and enjoy 3 days of food, live music, and of course, shopping for one-of-a-kind arts and crafts from across the Mid-South. It's a Memphis tradition you don't want to miss. The Pink Palace Crafts Fair, September 26th through the 28th at Audubon Park. Sponsored by First Horizon Foundation, Friends of the Pink Palace, and your friends at Sports 56. Maria's Cantina in South Haven is not your average Tex-Mex joint because they're serving up Mexican with a twist. Maria's Scratch Kitchen is the most creative and diverse menu around. Beyond the traditional huge quesadillas, chimichangas, and fajitas, Maria serves up hand-rolled Latin egg rolls, Cajun and Creole items like catfish, gumbo, and boudin balls, as well as the best sandwiches and 8-ounce burgers in town. Wash it all down with a house margarita for only $5.50 and happy hour every day till 6. MariasCantina.com, 6717 Airways, Mexican with a twist.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar-based. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to baste or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback with hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, Yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today, it's actually a day late, so I apologize for that, but I will go with the number 2. That is my big number.
You're kind of incorporating the beaming machine backwards for a big number of the day, okay?
We're going back in time. That's because this big number comes from Monday night, or I guess the what transpired Monday night. My big number is 2. That's because Monday was the second time the Twins and the Vikings won on the road on the same day. It's only the second time in history that has happened.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, with the Twins getting a win and the Vikings getting the Monday Night Football win over the Bears. The other came on September 15th, 1985, when both had victories on the road. So they had Cleveland and Tampa Bay. So how about that? I don't know which was which, but
that is
road wins in 85. How about that?
I'm going to say baseball was Cleveland because no Tampa Bay existed then.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
And football against the Buccaneers, and they barely existed then.
Well, yeah.
So look out for the Rangers. They finish off the Brewers this afternoon, 6-3.
Yeah, there's been some interesting scores. You can take a little sigh of relief there, Landon, because I believe the Giants are going to lose. They're down 5-0 right now, so I think they're going to lose that game. But, hey, Giants, you got to keep an eye out for them as well, as they're only a couple games behind the Mets right now.
5-0 B7, bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, so I think you feel pretty good if you're a Mets fan holding on to your wild card spot today.
My big number is a year. It's 1970. That's the last time Florida and LSU did not play. They've had a long run of playing. That's another one that probably will end as an annual game. We'll play pretty often under the new 9 games in SEC in the new league scheduling model that's going to start next year. I don't think there's any way they stay permanent with each other. I think LSU's 3 permanent. I think will be Ole Miss and Alabama and someone not named Florida.
Yeah, no, I think you're definitely right about that.
And for Florida, they're permanent. You know Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tennessee?
Could be.
We lose both of those with the new model.
Well,
that's one thing you got to give up in
a
a lot of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's I think with how they're going to do it with 3 protected, that at least gives you 3 of those games for each team that are those big rivalries and secondary rivalries. But there are going to be a lot of really good games and really good matchups and kind of more recent rivalries that we're going to lose out of all of this. And so it's one of those where there's a lot of good of it. If you're the SEC, you're going to 9 conference games, but at the same time you are going to lose some of these matchups.
And if you stayed strictly regional, like for Mizzou, back with Oklahoma, Arkansas. Do you call Kentucky regional?
I guess it'd be. I guess as regional as it gets. It's pretty close to it. I guess
states in between,
sure.
Big Old River.
Yeah, but it's certainly closer than like Alabama and Georgia
or South
Florida
Carolina.
And South Carolina. Yeah, some of
the
those
battle
teams.
for Columbia.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. That's going to be the most interesting thing, going into next season is how the SEC is going to do this and what are those protected games going to be and how do they make this work?
I was told last weekend by a Kentucky administrator that it's coming soon.
I believe that. They got to, right?
That they're being notified that a lot of the places know.
Yeah.
But the public unveiling, of course, will be a SEC network special.
Yeah, an hour-long special where they lay it all out in the last 15 minutes of the show, right?
Yeah, and it was recorded
exactly
3 days ago.
That's right. Yeah, no, that's how it always is with these schedule release, whatever it is, with any league pretty much. They love turning into shows, but yeah, it's got to be soon because we're almost in October.
Make plans.
Yeah, you got to know who you're playing. So that'll be fun once we see it, and it'll be a real storyline. Going into the off season and into next year is, what is this going to look like and how's this going to play? And, we talked about it, but obviously, other teams outside the SEC kind of feeling it. And, Memphis with that game being moved against Arkansas to 2030. So, you're going to see a lot more of that and kind of how that's going to work, not just next year, but, even down the line. And we're starting to see that as well. So it's a lot going on off the field as well with the SEC trying to figure out what the future looks like.
I'm not buying green bananas for 2030.
No. Yeah, I'm not booking hotel rooms for 2030 right now. Maybe if we get a little closer.
By then, they may have a 99-night limit in these SEC towns.
They could. You never know. Those hotel rooms, they're.
So as soon as we were clearing out in election last week at a really nice place, but I stayed over Saturday. But a lot of the rooms opened up for, and some were used by Ohio State soccer.
Really?
The women's soccer team was there to play Kentucky on Sunday.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, so you gotta make room for all the sports. So how about that? Yeah, I don't know. I'll be very honest, Brett. I don't know much about Kentucky or Ohio State soccer.
2-0 Ohio State full time.
Wow.
I checked the score.
Holy
see how they did.
cow.
They were nice as they could be.
Wow, that is Brett. I'll be completely honest. Maybe the most surprising thing for the entire year that I've heard from you is knowing
that I looked up a
that
soccer
score. Yes, that score in particular.
They were nice as they could be.
Well, that's great. So you're definitely cheering for them. You're rooting them on. I know this, and this, Brett, I don't know if this will mean anything to you, but supposedly the Ohio State men's team has a guy on their roster that's playing for their men's soccer team that played in the, how are we supposed to say the Premier League now? The Premier League. Yeah, the Premier League. He was coming off the bench in the Premier League or something like that. I don't know.
What's his NIL?
I have no idea. I don't know the whole story to it, but I just saw that tweet last week, and it was this guy that was
He's not a pro?
No, I guess not. I guess he's couldn't get a spot, and so he's playing for Ohio State now or something along the lines. So yeah, college soccer, Brett.
Nobody knows about eligibility anymore. Nobody.
No. It is a wild world on the eligibility front. Well, before we get to a break, let me remind you it's perfect time to head down to Olive Branch and check out Frontier Western Store. Family owned and operated since 1967, Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for all the biggest brands in Western wear. While you're out there, check out their world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family with plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dan Post, and Durango, and that's just to name a few. Frontier Western Store, they're the one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South, but they've also got you covered with plenty of other brands when it comes to shirts, shorts, jeans, outerwear. Whatever you're looking for, they've got it. But if you need a new pair of jeans, well, Frontier Western is the place you got to get to. They've got all the brands from Ariat all the way down to Wrangler, and you'll love how easy it is to find the perfect size and style for you. Frontier Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know you'll be getting the best deals. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch and check out the entire selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Frontier Western Store. Well, we need to wrap up this second hour and get to another break. And when we return, we're going to talk about the Troy Trojans, the team that Memphis will face Saturday morning. Barry McKnight, the voice of the Troy Trojans, he joins us next.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Drive like a pro and support a great cause during the sales drive at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, and Landers Ford North in Covington. We've provided over 100 new Fords to be driven by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. This is a once-a-year opportunity to trade up to a 2025 Ford Expedition or Explorer. Demo priced below market value. That's right, demo price 2025 Fords below market value. Visit LandersMemphis.com or come see us at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, or Landers Ford North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance. Reserve your demo price 2025 Ford driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship before they're sold. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit BinswangerGlass.com. Binswanger Glass. This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting to build with more volume in the last few minutes. Trying to sneak out of Midtown on 240 southbound at South Parkway as it gets heavier now to the south, right on schedule actually on 55 going southbound down into DeSoto County. It's a little bit slow a few minutes ago on Bill Morris Parkway. It looks like it's trying to move a little bit better coming inbound on Bill Morris right there at Hickory Hill. Hey, make a difference by adopting a pet at the Humane Society of Memphis, Shelby County. Check out the animals right now that are available for adoption. Log on to their website at memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Memphis's original sports station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour. And the Tigers this weekend on the road taking on the Troy Trojans. And joining us now to talk about this game, to talk about Troy, Barry McKnight, the voice of the Troy Trojans, joins us now. Barry, thanks so much for joining us. Let's start before we get to this game this weekend. Let's talk about what happened last week in the game against Clemson. Everybody in the country talking about what Troy was doing against Clemson. What did you make of that performance?
Well, the key thing about it all, with retrospect,
is the big takeaway positively for Troy was that it's a team that is still trying to figure itself out, its identity. A lot of several new players in key positions, not a lot, but you go into a game like that and good or bad, you're going to find out something about yourself. The week of preparation was terrific. The coaching staff hit all the right notes in preparation. And, Troy hit him in the mouth early. A touchdown on the opening drive. Then the defense got a 3-and-out against Clemson and had the ball back. And that's when the hour-and-a-half weather delay happened. So you think, oh, boy, here we go. All that momentum is gone. But they came out of that weather delay and added to the 7-0 lead. It was 16-0 before Clemson got a late field goal in the first half. In the second half, Clemson showed why they're the number 8 team in the country. They're very talented. They figured some things out on both sides of the ball, and the final score ended up what it was. But really, in a journey of self-discovery at Death Valley, to me, that's the biggest value. Troy found a couple of guys that I think are going to pay dividends, that found out about themselves that, hey, this entire team, if we prepare like we prepared and practiced against Clemson, if we have, our key contributors play with their hair on fire in a controlled way, we can be pretty good. So that's the takeaway. A little bit more confidence. Losing at Troy is never acceptable. It's the most successful program in our conference, and the fans never are going to explain away a loss. But there were some positives, and more than anything else, the positives had to do with some guys really rising to the occasion and growing into a couple of key roles.
Barry, during that game, even at 16-0, did you ever think that Troy had them, and do you ever think Clemson thought we might be being had?
Well, I always think. We get on I was on a couple of Clemson shows last week, and I get on programs like that, and programs that, are really centric to their team, and I get that. But they say, what's Troy's expectation? I'm sure they want to put together a good game and, give a good showing. And that never resonates with me because I'm like, we expect to win the game. That's what we're here for. That's why we give scholarships and sell tickets and everything. We expect to succeed. I got to admit, 16-0 in the first half, I didn't see coming. I think anybody would be lying to you if they told you that. But, yeah, I thought that, we were doing a lot of things right. Clemson was still scrabbling around trying to figure out what end was up, and I thought we had a very good chance to win that game. For Clemson, nothing was working. Klubnik didn't look good at quarterback. There were a couple of players on the offensive line I didn't think were playing all that hard for Clemson. But during the weather delay and during halftime, let's just say I am sure Clemson was energetically coached. Can I say it that way? Mm-hmm. And they were challenged at that point. So, yeah, I do think that they were, for a little while, wondering what in the world have we gotten ourselves into.
Absolutely. And quarterback Goose Crowder, maybe one of the best names in college football, and a lot of people were talking about him on Saturday, goes out there 223 yards, throws a touchdown, had 3 interceptions on the day, 2 of those coming in the third quarter. But what have you made of the way he's looked to start the season?
Well, he's finally healthy, and he does a lot. He can run the ball well. He's got experience. The interceptions, he had started his career throwing 117 straight passes without an interception. He'd never thrown an interception in his career. All 3 of those interceptions came off of tipped balls.
Oh, wow.
1 off of a defensive lineman, 2 off DBs. He just takes care of the ball. He's a great leader. He spreads the ball around. I think we had 5 different receivers in that game that caught balls for more than 20 yards. He's just the guy at Troy. Some teams take on identities of a defensive player or of a back or somebody with a dominant personality. There's no question that Goose is the one to whom everybody in that locker room rallies around. His leadership is probably as big of a strength as anything he does for that team in this program.
what kind of scene will Memphis fans, people from our area making the way down, what will they see in and around the stadium? I know you opened against Nichols, but this has to be kind of a special game to have Memphis coming down and playing the game at Troy.
Sure. You look at what Coach Silverfield has done, and I think that, it is a blueprint, pardon the pun, a blueprint for what a lot of non-Power 4 programs should aspire to. To be honest, there's been a lot of success, one of the winningest programs for a good little while now in the entire country. I do think that there's a great level of respect for Troy, for Memphis. A couple of things about it I think are worthy of note. Look, it's a small town. If the Memphis fans are planning on coming in and raising the roof and everything, there's about 3 things you can do in Troy if you're a student athlete. You can play ball, you can go to class, and you can practice. If you're planning on getting in trouble in Troy, you're going to have to really, really work. But it's a great football atmosphere. That's the great thing about it, is everybody around the area cares about Troy and is invested in Troy. So the fans that are there are going to be all about it. It's a difficult place to play, but it's a fun place to play. It's a beautiful stadium, beautiful campus, not a bad seat in the house, and it is a great small-town Southern football atmosphere.
Do most opposing teams stay in Montgomery?
Yeah, they stay in Montgomery. It depends, because, it depends on what Auburn's doing. The Auburn opponents usually stay in Montgomery. If Auburn's,
and
they
Auburn
switch
used
around.
to.
Yeah. They that's what they end up doing, is just kind of trading off the best hotels in Montgomery or in Prattville. But yeah, there is a little drive to get it. You can stay in Troy. There's several nice hotels, but not the ones with the accoutrements for everything that you need to be on the road, as you know, Brett. The conference rooms and the meeting rooms and the lobby space and stuff like that.
And Barry, I was stunned to learn this. One of the biggest things, everything you just named, right on, you have to have that. But places to park the buses. You got to have plenty of room.
Of all of this, the logistics of everything absolutely just floors me. I don't know how people handle all of that. But, Troy handles it well. Again, one of the best atmospheres, one of the most well-organized game day experiences you'll ever want to see. Couple that with Troy feeling pretty good about the football team despite the loss, and knowing what they know about the type of opponent that Memphis is going to be. And some of the guys, I know Memphis has got a lot of new players, but we're familiar with a couple of them. Last year, Brendan Lewis brought Nevada in to Troy. He played terrific, and Nevada got a 2-point win. Drew Watts, the linebacker, I think had 8 or 9 tackles against Troy for Nevada last year. So there are several known commodities on that team that weren't on that team last year. And the guys who returned from that team last year that beat Troy up in Memphis, they'll get your hands full, too, if you're trying to prepare for them.
Yeah, it's a really interesting point, because you're right. Nowadays, with the transfer portal, there are a lot of teams. You don't play them the year before, but they're familiar with some of those guys because of the teams they were on the year before. Talking about the run game, we've had a couple of texters this week texting in about Tay Meadows and the start of the season that he's had, 262 yards, a rushing touchdown, really nice start to the season. What does he bring to this run game, and what has jumped out to you about the run game this year?
Well, he brings salvation. It's a very good story as well. We talk about a journey of self-discovery for this Troy team. No room in the football building needed self-discovery more than the running back room. We had a transfer guy named Trey Cooley, who was at Georgia Tech last year, played at Louisville, was going to be the number 1 guy, great breakaway speed, plenty of experience, and, of course, the week of the opener, he tears an ACL and he's out for the year. So what do you do there? Tay Meadows is a former walk-on. He's not electrifying speed, but he gets to where he wants to go. And, last year I think he had maybe 12 carries the whole year. Well, in the first game, he runs for 186 against a pretty stout Nichols team. Last week had a 28-yard one against Clemson. I think 71 yards total in that one. He's second in our league in rushing right now, and in the top 10 in the country in yards after contact. He has been a salvation. There's other guys, but, boy, somebody had to step up, and Tay Meadows has been that guy. He's benefited from a good offensive line, and he has been surprisingly unflustered by any of it. He's just taken it as it comes, and believe me, Troy needed him to grow into that role and grow into it quickly.
Barry, for the 11 o'clock games, I have zero data for any of this, and I would love to know if you have anything that's really empirical. Is it an advantage for the home team as much as we kind of think it is to play that early game and they're at home?
I do. I think it is definitely an advantage for the home team. You know what this is like, Brett. An 11 o'clock game is a challenge. An 11 o'clock game on the road is a tremendous challenge. And we had to deal with that last year. I think we stayed in Olive Branch last year whenever we played up at Memphis. Because you've got to get up so early and you've got to get out there. A lot of coaches say, hey, get out there and play. But, man, it's early to get out there. You're eating pre-game, at what, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. You're just trying to get people moving around. Meanwhile, for the home team, you roll out of the rack, you head to the complex, you get rolling a little bit, and you're good to go. The only thing worse, I think, for a road team than an 11 o'clock start is an 8 o'clock at night start where you're spending the whole day at the hotel just waiting and checking your watch.
Yeah, it's a really good point. We're talking Troy Trojans with Barry McKnight, the voice of the Troy Trojans, and we've talked a lot about those offensive weapons for Troy. Tell us a little bit about the defense. We know how good they looked in that first half against Clemson. What should Memphis expect from this Troy defense?
I really love the front seven, and there were some questions there going in. Best player on defense has been a weak side linebacker. His name is Jordan Stringer. He's number 7. When you're watching, you'll see him a lot on defense. He's a senior, and he's all over the field. There's been some linebacker depth issues in the past. He does have some help that has grown into it over the last couple of weeks. The defensive line was a question. There's a transfer defensive end named Elijah Davis, transferred in from South Carolina. There's a defensive tackle from Ole Miss named Talik Robbins. They have really provided a lot along the defensive front for the Trojans, and a bandit, a rush end named Jamal Williams. Troy's getting after the quarterback pretty well. The front seven has been terrific. The secondary has had some question marks and will continue to have a few question marks, but the matchup to me in the game is Troy's defensive front seven and how they handle Brendan Lewis, particularly, trying to negate the run game, but he can definitely hurt you with his arm as well. To me, that's Troy's biggest challenge right there, and it all rests up front.
Yeah. It was big shoes to fill for losing John Summerall, and how are people taking to Coach Parker?
Well, he started 1-7, and the loss to Clemson also, you'll remember, that was the game that Crowder started, and he got hurt on the touchdown run, and he missed 2 games, and he ended up later on playing 1 game and then missing the rest of the season. So that 1-7 start, fans didn't necessarily want to hear it. It was a lot of adversity, but Jared Parker has stayed the course. He's got a plan. He's been around quite a while. He was the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame before he came to Troy, so he knows what he's about, and he knows what successful football looks like. It has been, I think, a rededication for this university to the long run. We've got a new indoor practice facility that he helped push through. That opens any day now. The team believes in him. We have had remarkably few numbers of transfers out. And he has a real good sense of what works at Troy. Not everybody can play at Troy. Like I said, it's a small town in a remote part of southeastern Alabama, and you've got to love ball to be able to play here because that's just about all you do other than go to class. These are football players here. And what he says resonates to them. And believe me, a few wins, I got to be honest, a win over Memphis on Saturday will go a long way towards, the Trojan Nation clutching Jared Parker more firmly to their bosoms.
The very friendly voice of Barry McKnight, the voice of the Troy Trojans. He's with us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. He does a daily show with John Longshore. You keeping Longshore in shape and out of trouble?
Well, I tell you what, it was a little bit of a challenge when Alabama went and laid an egg at Florida State. He wanted some answers. And I don't know that there still are any answers for that. But, yeah, John and I have been together, as Brett knows, for about 30 years now on radio. We're on a YouTube, live YouTube television program that you can go to YouTube and just, search Longshore and McKnight every morning Central Time, 7 to 9. We have a lot of great guests and stuff like that. And so far, we're just a little bit more than a year into it. So far, it's been received very, very well.
And Brian, I've told Barry and John this, and I mean it sincerely. I told you years ago this. I've never known of a radio team that liked each other as much as you and John like each other. Y'all really are best friends.
Yeah, it doesn't. Sometimes we do get crosswise, but
I don't believe it. I really don't, Barry.
Usually that's about a 2 or 3 second thing. So yeah, we've just worked together for so long. We have entirely different views on just about everything, but there is definitely a mutual respect and admiration, which I guess is rare in the sports talk radio.
Oh, yeah, Brian and I can't stand each other.
It's a struggle to get us here every day.
Barry, you know John Summerall well. I knew him pretty well when he was an assistant coach for Matt Luke at Ole Miss, and I love him. He's a guy's guy. He's a football's guy. I mean, he rough and tough guy. I think he's going to have great options this coaching carousel season. Where do you think he lands next? After it was at Troy, then now at Tulane, and I think he can write his check this offseason.
He turned down a few jobs before finally taking that Tulane job late in the cycle. He's a Kentucky graduate. He recruited the state of Alabama well. He's from Huntsville. Recruited the state of Alabama well for Kentucky and for Ole Miss, of course. He has all the earmarks. I mean, you've seen successful coaches. I've seen successful coaches. There's a commonality with all of the great ones. Tremendous passion, tremendous transparency with his players. You can't fool them for very long. Tremendous energy and a real clear vision. He checks all of those boxes. I mean, to me, he's a star, and very possibly even a better human being than he is a football coach, and that is saying something.
It is. And Barry, I remember his brother working in the Alabama Sports Information Office for Larry White and Barry Allen.
His name is Joe, and you get a couple of those Summeralls together, and man, you have got you might need some earplugs because they are all a rambunctious lot.
That's great. Well, Barry, this was a ton of fun. Thanks so much for joining us. I know we're all looking forward to Saturday morning, Memphis and Troy, and we definitely got to do this again soon.
Yeah, that sounds good. Anytime, just give me a call.
Thanks, Barry.
You got it, Barry. Thank you so much.
Take care. See you.
You got it. Barry McKnight, how fun. It always is. Brian, I'm not kidding you. He and his radio partner, that you can tell they're like brothers.
Great.
And I have tried and like just about everybody I've ever been with, but I told them one year, I said, y'all really like each other.
Well, that's great. It makes work a lot easier when you like who you're working with.
Does.
So
Sure
that is definitely
it's supposed
good.
to be fun. Isn't
No, it is. And I
that
know
real
we both
world's
have,
something else out there.
Yeah, no, and that's why we like to keep it sports and be that escape. And I know we both have a lot of fun coming on here every afternoon and talking ball. So
and try to. Dangerous game Saturday for the Tigers?
Oh, yeah. No, I think so. I think, I was already a little concerned. I mean, not, because this is by far going to be the toughest team Memphis has faced so far on the schedule. I mean, when you go back to Chattanooga and Georgia State. But after we talked on Monday with Jonah Dillon, and Jonah Dillon's pointing out to us that 14 missed tackles for the Tigers in that game against Georgia State. And then Barry McKnight is telling us that their starting running back is in the top 10 at yards after contact. I mean, it's going to take a good tackle. It's going to take a team effort to bring him down. And after seeing 14 missed tackles, Tigers defensively going to have to be a lot better on Saturday against Troy. So it's a tough one. I mean, it's the perfect trap opportunity where everyone's already been talking about next week against Arkansas, but you got to go on the road an early one against Troy. This one feels like it's going to be hairy one way or the other. Hopefully, and I think the Tigers can win this game, but it feels like it's going to be one that comes down to the fourth quarter.
I'm glad it's not the first road trip.
Yes.
That
Yes,
served a very practical purpose last weekend. Right, there are a couple things we all fall into on pregame and postgame and daily analysis of things. One is master of the obvious, quick start. Well, everybody wants that. Another one is turnovers. One, nobody can tell or know when those are going to happen. With that said, a really quick start and ball security and a working margin to just get to zeros and get home and start Arkansas week.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. And as cliche as it might be sometimes to say that is what the Tigers have to do.
Sterling analysis, wasn't it?
That was that's why you're here, Brett. That type of analysis. No, but you're right. I mean, the Tigers want to go out there again. 11 a.m. games are not
and Ole Miss
easy.
did not have the quick start, but were able to kind of recalibrate.
That's right, but it got a little
Tigers
worrisome.
didn't have a great start
last
week.
Not a great start at all. I mean, you needed a last-second field goal to even just be leading at the break.
Yeah.
So, I definitely think a much better start is what you want to see, especially in that early road game. And you look at Troy, they've shown that they can get out to a fast start. I mean, it was a fast start against Clemson last week on the road, so getting back home, they're definitely going to be wanting a fast start. So you got to go out there and punch them in the mouth first.
All right, since I only play about 20 holes of golf a year now, and I don't go to minor league baseball anymore, do I dedicate next summertime project to I'll do it in the SEC. Is it anything real to it being an advantage for the home team at 11 o'clock?
Brett, we have conversations like this all the time where it feels like a big project. And, hey, if that's something you want to do, Brett,
I think my summer of 2026.
I think it'd be great. I think that you write that on the calendar and get after it in the summer. But I'll leave that to you because I will not be doing that. But hey, if that's what you want to do, then by all means, I think it'd be.
Well, I wish somebody else would do it and just give me all the information.
Yes. Someone else publish it, tweet it out, do something, and then we'll just take. We won't even take the credit for it. We'll give you the credit. We just want to be able to reference it. But a lot of fun having Barry McKnight with us, the voice of the Troy Trojans. And we've been talking a lot about this game. We'll continue to talk a lot about this game as we get closer to Saturday. Well, before we get to a break, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsors, Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to JaguarBluffCity.com. But head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Marshall Steakhouse is a feast for the eyes as well as the body. Enjoy all American USDA prime steaks, aged 30 days or more, and other delicious meats and sides. Marshall Steakhouse in Holly Springs, named the #1 steakhouse in Mississippi by the Food Network, and named in the top 2 most legendary steakhouses in the South by Southern Living Magazine. Make reservations today and get free bread pudding by calling 662-252-2424 or online at marshallsteakhouse.com. Marshall Steakhouse in Holly Springs, a Southern treat.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations. Fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad. Or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. I'd sure love to see you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
Memphis is a love song to soul and style. With the full suite of sought-after designers, brilliant natural diamonds, an elegant bar, luxury VIP lounge, and more, a trip to our store is an experience like no other. Just like the city we love. Stop by any of our stores or visit sissyslogcabin.com and experience Sissy's for yourself. Memphis is our home, and we're your jeweler.
Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
The NBA Finals are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is pulling out all the stops to make this a Finals to remember. New DraftKings customers bet 5.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the job delivered. Large orders of lumber, doors, windows, paint, plumbing, anything the job needs, all from one partner. Get it today with same-day delivery. Get it tomorrow with next-day delivery on 50,000 plus products. Or get it on your timeline with scheduled delivery on everything from framing to flooring. It's time to get your whole job, all your jobs delivered. Ask about all our new delivery options at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home and office. Protect babies, pets, new homes, old homes, employees, friends, loved ones, and you. Just call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 for the Memphis Mold Inspector.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Wrapping up the paperwork on this wreck, 240 eastbound, just before Mount Moriah. We had that earlier wreck, westbound Bill Morris at Riverdale. Of course, the heaviest flow in that side of town is going eastbound on Bill Morris, going outbound, passing Riverdale on out towards the Collierville area. Yes, it's loading up over here on 40 eastbound as you come past Sycamore View Road. Hey, make a difference by adopting a pet at the Humane Society of Memphis, Shelby County. Check out the animals right now that are available for adoption. Log on to memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Here comes the hero man. Says he's a people man.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. And today, what's trending, we got to talk some Major League Baseball. We obviously, with all the football, we haven't been able to talk a lot of Major League Baseball, but there are some good storylines, some interesting things to keep an eye on as we get closer and closer to the end of the season. We talked about it earlier, but last night, the Mets, they lose against the Phillies. The Giants, they beat the Diamondbacks. Now, maybe something to keep an eye on. Giants entered the day only 2 games back in that wild card race. Mets again on the road against the Phillies tonight, where they have really struggled. But a little sigh of relief. I said this earlier with you, Landon, but a little sigh of relief because it still looks like, bottom of the 9th inning, the Giants are going to lose today. They're down 5-2. Now, they do have guys on second and third with only 1 out, so maybe something crazy can happen. Don't count them out just quite yet, but definitely some intrigue there for that final wild card spot. The Mets, that all the talk in the offseason was how good the Mets are going to be. They just went out and got Soto. Man, everyone fired up for the Mets, and now
not Soto in the offseason. They got Landon in the offseason.
That's a great point. They were able to get Landon on their side. I mean, everyone's super high.
They sure did.
And now, with just a couple weeks left to play, only 2 games up for the final wild card spot.
And the American League wild card, I think it has some strength. I think there's somebody that could be playing, in that 2 out of 3 that could go on at least to a World Series, maybe win it all. I'm not knocked over by the Mets and the Giants, and then you have the Reds just 3 back in the all-important loss column. Arizona, if they win today, do they start thinking – they're in it with 15 to go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You get hot and maybe
16
doing something
or so, 15, 16 to go.
I mean, there's definitely time, but any team that's going to be in that final spot, I certainly don't have as much confidence with them. When you look at the other side in the AL, where you could have one, if you're going to stretch out, one of Seattle, Texas, Cleveland, or Kansas City for that final wild card spot. I mean, I feel a lot more comfortable with any of those teams over some of those teams we just mentioned in the NL.
And unless it really drastically changed, the 6th seed, the last National League wild card, hey, you made the playoffs. Have fun at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, well, and that's going to be, I mean, if you
beat them 2 out of 3 times up there.
Yeah, good luck with that. But I mean, hey, if you have the Mets and Dodgers matchup, that'll get a lot of people talking. All the build up to the wild card will be on that game alone.
I'm ready for postseason baseball. I'm ready for the ceremonial red, white, and blue bunting.
Yes.
Out. What a sport that you can have bunting and bunting.
That's right. Yes, all wrapped in one. I love it. So, not often
you can
that
have
happens.
it ceremonial and you can lay one down.
That's exactly right. And I'm sure we'll see some bunts laid down in postseason play this year. But Seattle, they're holding on to that final AL wild card spot. Now only a game ahead of the Rangers, who got a big win over the Brewers earlier this afternoon. Mariners got another win over the Cardinals last night, and right now they're playing pretty well. 4 straight wins for them.
Mariner pitching locked in the last 2 nights.
It's been, and that's been, everyone's talked about it for the last couple of years of this.
Bailey had a tough last outing.
Yeah, but I mean they've looked really good, and I think that's been one thing that everyone said. Yeah, Seattle, you can rely on your pitching. It's just, can the bats come around? They went out at the trade deadline and got some more reliable bats, and they've been playing really, really well. Now, can they, keep fighting off the Rangers and the Guardians and maybe even the Royals? Or on the flip side of that, can they go up and take that wild card spot from the Astros, who are 3-7 in their last 10 games? They have not looked good. Should have had a win last night. They were up 3-0 in the 6th inning, and then from that point on, it was all Toronto the rest of the way, as Toronto got a big win at home. So the AL West, it always comes down to the feels like the final week, and it feels like we're going to get that again this season.
I mean, Kirby, the starter last night.
George Kirby.
He had the tough time over the weekend and was just okay last night. That was really a bullpen game for them. Cardinals just put us out of our misery. I mean, this is going to the vet, and the vet looking at you and going, it's over for Fluffy.
Yeah, no, I mean
it's over for us.
They keep wanting to show some, I don't know, some sort of life, and then it's just there's nothing there. And I think I don't know how many games they're away from. I mean, they're pretty. It's going to be a while.
Fluffy ain't gonna make it.
It's going to be a while though, Brett, before that E's placed next to him.
Well, Central. Well, with Milwaukee losing, I think the tragic number is 1. If Cardinals lose tonight, the E goes in for the Central. We've kind of known the Central was over. Since Memorial Day.
I'm not super worried about the Central. I'm more worried about the E going up for that. Just
man,
getting
who
into the
would have picked
playoffs.
him to win it all?
Oh man, I mean, if anybody did that, I mean, good Lord, I mean, that's just
what a loon.
That's crazy, honestly. But yeah, it's just there's no hope for them. But still, a really fun last couple of weeks setting up for Major League Baseball, and it will be really fun to see some of these matchups. We were talking about it last week. I think I referenced this earlier in the week of some of the matchups that we could have. Now, I think it's changed since when we looked at this last week at some of the matchups. But you're talking about some rivalry matchups, some big-time games that we could see in Major League Baseball last week when they said if the playoffs started today, your matchups in the AL, Mariners-Astros, rivalry game, Boston-Yankees, big-time rivalry game. And then in the NL, Mets-Dodgers, and Padres-Cubs. I mean, those would be awesome wild card matchups.
Bring it on.
I'd be all for it.
I'm ready for it. Did you see the statistical rule change today for the NBA on heaves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did see that.
Did they define heave?
I didn't read everything, so I don't know what the exact definition.
If people
would be
may
for
not know, at the end, is it at the end of the shot clock as well?
No, I think it's just the end of the quarter.
Okay, end of quarter, end of halves. You know, the running 60-footer. They're no longer going to count that as an attempted field goal.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Kevin Durant had stopped even attempting them. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
And
you knew it consciously?
There's a couple other players that not as much as Kevin Durant will not throw up a heave. But there are other players that they're mindful of what's going on.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah.
He's really done that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To
Yep.
finesse his shooting percentage.
Yep. That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's just not throwing up. That, and then the other thing is...
Does he think somebody's going to raid the bank account because the percentage goes down?
Yeah, from the
field?
Because, that one heave is going to really affect your career shooting percentage.
There are things I don't want to learn a lot of days.
Well, yeah. And the other thing that people have started doing is... like into the game when you're just dribbling the clock out, a lot of these guys, they will not have the ball in their hand to dribble out a shot clock because that's a turnover. If you have the ball in your hand when that shot clock runs out, that's turnover, Brett. And so they give it to a rookie, they give it to somebody else because they are not going to have a turnover on their stat sheet at the end of the game.
This is amazing. This amazes me.
Mm-hmm.
And you've known this for a while? Why didn't you tell me?
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were going to get something like this. This is what
you didn't want to blow my mind.
No. I didn't want to ruin everything for that. So here's what the NBA statement says about it. For stat keeping purposes, the NBA will tell teams that any shot taken within the final 3 seconds of the first 3 quarters and is launched from at least 36 feet away on that play that starts in the backcourt will not count it, or will count as a team shot attempt, but not as an individual one. So, final 3 seconds, at least 36 feet away from the basket, and the play has to start in the backcourt.
That's so soft.
So
that is just extremely soft.
That is what
these babies
categorizes as a heave at the end of the quarter. So
the makes won't count either.
Brett. Great question. That is a unbelievable question. Because if I'm a player and I throw up that last second shot at the end of the quarter, I want that shot counted on my stats. I do. I want that counted as a made. But you're right. It will not count as an individual make, I don't believe.
What's next? Golfers over 80 feet, that doesn't count as a missed putt?
Well,
If you're on the green and regular.
Yeah.
They want it to count GIR, but they don't want it to count as a putt.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Get my green, but don't get the missed putt in there.
Let's get ready for the sale down at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Time to load them up and head for all the ball games and hit the road for fun fall trips. All-Star Chevy right there in Olive Branch. They're ready. Come check out all the new Tahoes and Suburbans, Equinox, Traverse, all the Silverados right there at All-Star first exit. When you cross into Mississippi on Highway 78, take Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there. Financing as low as zero. That's as low as it can go. Low as zero or 3.9 and no payments for 90 days. That's a great deal. 1.9, no payments for 90 days on a new 26 Equinox. Your good credit deserves it, and you get it from Drew DePriest and his team at All-Star Chevrolet, where they have the best of the best pre-owned and certified Chevys, a ton of Silverados, Tahoes, Equinox, and that great-looking Corvette Stingray. If you have any car or truck you want to sell, All-Star is the place to be. It's the best week for it at All-Star Chevy. Bring your title and get a big check immediately, whether you bought it there or not. Head to All-Star. Drive to All-Star. Everything you want to drive is right there, All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. Or for more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, we need to get to our final break of the day. When we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Moe's Crunch Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Humdinger's Corporate Catering. Enjoy tacos made with crunchy slaw, grilled fish, and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. Find out more, call Jenny Nash at 901-606-3172.
Newsflash! Family Leisure needs your help. Family Leisure has a warehouse full of inventory, and they need it cleaned out. Do your part to make room for new items, and you get great deals on almost everything. Listen up. All in-stock patio furniture, it's up to 80% off. You can get a 4-piece deep seating set for under $1,000. Chaise lounges. You buy one and you're going to need another, and that other one will be one half off. All Pollywood furniture, it's now 20 to 30% off. You buy any dining table, you're going to get an umbrella absolutely free, and they're not cheap. Now, is financing available? You better believe it. Special financing is a go. To sum it all up, Family Leisure has got to clear out its warehouse inventory, which means you're going to rack up the savings. Help Family Leisure clear out the warehouse. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together to clean out the warehouse.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
The NFL season is rolling. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HERD. That's code HERD to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois, Boyd, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
To NST, it's never just another case. It's your shot at getting life back on track. Real help, real heart. 35 years and still winning. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go online at nstlaw.com. Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home and office. Protect babies, pets, new homes, old homes, employees, friends, loved ones, and you. Just call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 for the Memphis Mold Inspector.
You gotta get to Gossett Hyundai on the Pikes Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, cause it's time to save big. 2025 Hyundai Kona SEL, we Gossett now $245 a month with 3.99% available for 72 months. How about 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe 2.5T SC, $290 a month and 0% for 60 months available with 90 days no payment. And last but not least, 2025 Hyundai Tucson SC, we Gossett $333 a month plus protection with America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Hyundai 1870 Covington Pike or visit online anytime at HyundaiGossett.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month lease, $10,000 per year, zero acquisition fee. Kona SEL SU323,897, MSRP 28,090. Santa Fe SH116, $383, MSRP 36,825. Tucson SH601, $128, MSRP 31,225. Plus finance through Hyundai includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax, file, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Constipation with belly pain that keeps coming back and back and back. If your symptoms keep coming back, talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C. Linzess could help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Say you stand by your man. Tell me something I don't understand. You said you love me, and that's a fact. And then you left me.
This is pretty cool. We're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest first time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries. Its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
Goodbye! It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is that Maui, the Maui Invitational, put out all the teams that will be representing the tournament next season in 2026. They put out the release earlier this morning for the 2026 Maui Invitational. It will include Arizona, BYU, Clemson, Colorado State, Providence, VCU, Washington, and Ole Miss. We knew a lot of these teams already were going to be in there, but seeing that field as a whole, it looks like next year when Ole Miss will be there, it will be a really good field. Obviously, Chaminade, it will not be the year Chaminade will be a part of the Maui Invitational, so you have that additional spot to place a team. And you look at these teams, Arizona in a really good spot as a program, BYU on the rise as a basketball program, Clemson in a really good spot, Colorado State, we just saw them in the NCAA tournament with Memphis. Providence, I think, is in a spot where they are growing as a program. VCU, a good team. Washington, a team that I think is always up and down, but should be a good team. So it feels like a pretty good field in 2026 for the Maui Invitational.
Feast Week 26. We're already getting ready for it.
Already looking forward to it, Brett.
Remember last year, Ole Miss and BYU played in a classic last year that Ole Miss was able to win. That was a quality win for Ole Miss that stood up all year. What I learned, best division in the NFL, it's the AFC West. Those coaches and, those quarterbacks. And those teams detest each other all the way back to the old AFL. Everybody be really careful after 1 week riding off Kansas City.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't want to go out there and ride off any teams after 1 week in the NFL. I certainly don't want to do it to Patrick Mahomes and that group. Yeah, they will find something. Now,
even at 0-2, be careful.
Oh, yeah. No, I think you never want to count them out because I think at any point they can strike and they could be a team that you do not want to see in the playoffs, no matter what seed they are. If they just find a way in, or if they're a top seed, you certainly do not want to see them in the postseason. Well, Brett, what I could have done without is the story that came out earlier this morning about 8 men that were accused of misconduct towards women in the Detroit Tigers organization. The story broke very early this morning. It sounds like these men were in the business arm or the broadcast partnership with the team. The good news, 7 of the 8 men that were accused were for mistreating women are no longer with the Tigers. So a lot of those guys are out of the team anymore. But just to see that type of news, it's far too often that we see stories like this in sports, and to see another one of these stories this morning, and including the Detroit Tigers, who have had a really nice season. It looks like they're going to be they're on their way to the playoffs and could make some noise in the playoffs. You never want to see one of these stories pop up.
And completely preventable. I could have done without the Big Ten. They love to pick at the SEC about 8 games. What are they going to complain about now?
They'll find something.
The SEC's going to 9. We know this about the Big Ten. 2 teams carry it, maybe 3. Ohio State and Michigan for sure. We'll see if Penn State can help carry it.
Yeah, no, we will, but, it's...
I think Oregon will contribute.
Sure. Oh, no, yeah, I think Oregon will definitely contribute to it. But, Brett, they're going to find something. There's always going to be that next thing. I don't know what it will be.
They bullied the SEC into doing that. I'm kind of glad they did that, though.
Well, I was about to say, you were always screaming from the rooftops about the 9-game regular season, so you like that.
No chance my 9 SEC games play one more. We're seeing a bunch of teams play conference opponents that aren't conference games. We had it last week. We got it again this week. Play 9 league games, one of those that doesn't count, and then somebody from your neighborhood, and then the Power 4 team.
Yeah, no, it's been weird with all of this conference realignment of these teams still trying to finish those contracts, even though they're in the same conference, but playing those games listed as non-conference. And then you've got the wackiness over at the West Coast, where Oregon State and Washington State, they're going to play a home and home this year, and those are the 2 conference games of the season.
They are?
Yep, they play in October, and then they play in November.
Broken.
Yep.
I've learned so much now. I need to go back to what I've learned.
That's right. Yeah, no, that could be what you learned every single day, Brett, that in 2025 college football, there's a conference that is playing a home and home as part of their conference slate. It is,
the Tigers and Southern Miss did it one year.
Really?
In the 60s. No, I want to say in 64. Southern won both of them.
I don't want to... I don't know if I say this, if people will think I'm crazy, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I may or may not have been looking at Southern Miss basketball non-conference schedule today, and I saw, and I'm guessing this is a schedule mistake, but they have Grambling on their schedule twice, one at home, one on the road in non-conference play. And I was like, that doesn't seem like that's right.
Want that.
No, certainly not. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. It must have been a mistake, but if we got that, that'd be something.
It would be.
Where are you beaming tonight?
It sure would be. I guess the Mets at Phillies.
It's a good one. That's going to be a great one tonight.
11-7 Clay Holmes against 12-5 Christopher Sanchez. The Mets they need to pick it up. Only 24,000 announced last night at the Rangers Milwaukee game. I'm gonna have to look at this see what this afternoon was.
Yeah.
Remember when we were told that teams in it late in the year that'll help crowds?
Yeah.
You know why that crowd was down last night, and I bet down today?
Why is that?
It's football season in the Metroplex.
Well, that is a great point. Yes, the season has changed, and it is absolutely football season. Let's see what it was today. 24,682 is the listed.
About the same numbers.
Yeah, that's about the exact same. You know what? I'm going to beam to the exact same game you're beaming to. I think it's the game of the night. Mets and Phillies. Mets really need a win, especially with the Giants losing today. They could definitely use a win to get some more separation, but a really good night of baseball tonight.
It is. Everybody going tonight. Not many more Wednesdays of that.
No, definitely not. Yeah, it's about to get into the midweek football here not too longer with some CSA action. But that's all the time we have this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
I'm thinking back to school.
You mean the Rodney Dangerfield movie?
No, I'm trying to think of a theme for this month's Central Barbecue ad, and since it's September, I'm thinking back to school.
Well, it seems like you're kind of forcing it. What does going back to school have to do with Central Barbecue?
Well, get your school year started right by having Memphis's best barbecue.
I'm not hearing it.
Come on, it's a brand new year. Why not celebrate by getting the tastiest ribs in town at Central Barbecue?
It just sounds like a Central Barbecue ad, but with school shoehorned in.
Every student should enjoy some slow-smoked deliciousness.
Well, now that just sounds stupid.
You try writing a new Central Barbecue ad every month.
Just say Central Barbecue is good.
For school.
Don't miss the 53rd Annual Pink Palace Crafts Fair at Audubon Park, September 26th through the 28th. Bring the whole family and enjoy 3 days of food, live music, and of course, shopping for one-of-a-kind arts and crafts from across the Mid-South. It's a Memphis tradition you don't want to miss. The Pink Palace Crafts Fair, September 26th through the 28th at Audubon Park. Sponsored by First Horizon Foundation, Friends of the Pink Palace, and your friends at Sports56.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets